All right. Well, enough of this current cinema situation. Let's jump
Sorry.
into current gen podcast about video games, episode 196. I'm Tim here with Jeff, Dan, and Kyle. And you guys just missed it. Those of you who are watching and listening, two of my kids were in here earlier, and I did ask them. They're 12. I said, "What should get game of the year this year?" And they're part of the problem. They think Fortnite should be the game.
Oh my lord!
I'm just kidding.
Fortnite or Genshin Impact.
My son Thad loves Fortnite, plays it a lot. But he was joking when he said that. He doesn't really know. He doesn't play a lot of new stuff. He just likes Fortnite. He loves to play Rocket League. That's one of his favorites. Like, he just likes online.
He's connected to the whole thing, much like the Chris Pratt bit.
Exactly. He loves the Chris Pratt bit. And then my son Shepard is the Zelda kid. He's already beaten Tears of the Kingdom once, did almost everything. He's on his second playthrough and has already almost done everything again. Like, he loves it. Like, it's a great example of a game just capturing an imagination of a kid.
Yeah.
And so, like, watching him play it, it just reminds me of when I played Ocarina of Time. And
I gotta be. How old did you say he was?
12.
12. I was about that age whenever Ocarina of Time came out, and it had a similar impact on me.
And you just kind of go
like you just played it over and over.
I never want to leave this world.
All right, I wrapped it up. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Or I had save points at certain parts. Well, I guess you really couldn't do that. Yeah, you could. You had 3 saves in that one, and right before a good boss fight, I could load it up right there and play that boss fight again.
Yeah, so that's his pick. He says Legend of Zelda, and Thad just goes,
That's
whatever
a
Shepard
one.
says.
Yeah,
whatever Shepard says.
Actually, a pretty good pick. He does play some D&D as well, but Baldur's Gate, quite a bit too mature for that age.
You don't want him to see fornication with a bear.
Sometimes when I'm playing it, I feel like it's too mature for me. So, yeah, I agree.
I love how cautious he is. So he'll even say, well, I don't know if I'm old enough to play or watch that. I'm just like,
very mature.
Very mature.
Yeah.
It's kind of like during Titanic, because when that came out, I would have been 10 or 11. It's kind of like when I saw Kate Winslet's boobs, and I had to look over at my parents and be like, "Is this okay? Is this chill?
Yeah.
Are we good?"
Movie, yeah.
I still remember going to see 300 in a theater with my younger brother. Let's see, how old was he? He was over 18, so like he was a kid, but he was pretty young, and he was coming out to visit. And I remember, in 300, it's got a couple of pretty intense nudity scenes going on.
Cersei's got some good scenes in that movie.
And I remember as that slow-mo good old Zack Snyder scene kicks in, I remember my brother.
Before it was hack,
weird, because like my brother and I, it's one of those things where maybe if we were watching it separately, whatever, that scene happens and you just keep moving. But because we were together, it was like, how are we supposed to react to this? So he just loudly starts telling me all the ingredients that are in M&Ms. He was like, "Dude, did you know? Did you know that this is?" I was just, it made the whole thing funny and like.
Riboflavin.
Riboflavin is in this.
Yeah, riboflavin.
I do certainly not erections. There are no erections in this.
No, not at all. No.
It definitely made that moment much less awkward than it could have been, as they're both sitting there like this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so props to him.
Yeah,
same younger brother, by the way, who is a drummer for the band called Enemy. So go check them out.
Nice.
ENMY. They're on tour. They're awesome. It's not even my favorite style of music, but I love.
He's very talented.
Really
he's super good. He's a showman type of drummer. That's like
he's excellent.
This.
Dude, when the actual drumsticks are coming off of their hand, but they're catching, like, I don't even understand.
I don't get it either. I don't
even like get that. Like,
it's defying
sorcery.
physics. It's not fair.
Sorcery.
Yeah, he's very, very talented. And I'd like to think that my cool rating goes up at least a notch or two just being associated with him by name.
Coolness.
Proximity coolness.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
I believe in it.
Real.
Yeah.
Totally real.
Cool by association.
All right. So let's talk about game awards that are happening this week. If you're listening to this on most of you are checking this out Monday or Tuesday based on the numbers that we see. So that means game awards haven't happened yet for most of you. We're going to make some predictions. Feel free, if it's not Thursday yet, no cheating. If it's after Thursday night, then your predictions don't count as predictions. But predict with us in the comments if you want. I'm curious what you guys think will win. But we're going to pull up the spreadsheet here that Jeff so kindly has kept updated for us. So let me...
I even reorganized it so there's no scrolling to the right or left. I put it all on one. I tried to put it on one screen, so all you have to do is zoom at the worst,
What a guy. All right, let's pull this up.
Thanks for spreading them sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, spread them
Don't
sheets,
ever say
bro.
that again.
No,
And I went,
Don't ever say that.
As I was typing, I was like,
Oh my god!
But if you go to the TGA nominees one, that's the one I rearranged a little bit so you can see it kind of all in one.
Look how pretty that is.
Oh, yeah, it's really pretty.
Look at that. Look at that.
I will say that there were so many likable winners for every category that I've never felt worse about any of my choices in any time we've ever done this. So
I straight up I picked a strategy. I am just going with the betting odds. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Explain to me what that means.
Even wrestling shows, in sports, every sports game too, there's always going to be like Vegas betting odds.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the Game Awards, I don't remember looking it up last year or any prior years, but I definitely found some. At least
cool. I didn't realize.
At least like half of them had betting odds this year.
I didn't realize there was. I guess.
So I'm going by that.
Can be gamblified or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, even wrestling, which is absurd. It's like it's scripted.
Yeah, it's fixed. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I mean,
here we go.
It's not, guys. It's totally real.
I mean,
it's real, guys.
Creatively influenced is what I meant.
Instead of trying to navigate through Jeff Keighley's website where he wants you to cast your vote and doing that, I'm just gonna thanks Google in your little info box. You already give me what I need right here, and I can just look through the different.
That's cool.
Good job, Google. Wait, that's not right. Twisted Metal. Is that correct?
Yeah, for best adaptation.
Oh, adaptation. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's so
maybe,
much better.
Maybe it'll be under Wikipedia. Let's see. That might be simplest if it is. Maybe not. Look at Wikipedia trying to get me to donate.
What is that?
It's every single time I visit the website. It's on there now. Every time. Scroll back up.
Oh,
sorry, I burped.
That was a good one. And by good
it's at the very top. It says current, and then current.
Where
the Game Awards to the right.
This?
To the right where it says the Game Awards in bold.
Okay.
Right underneath that it says the current. Yeah.
So
you really need to donate to Wikipedia, Tim. It's unbelievable.
Gosh.
You just okay. Already, man.
Quit being selfish, Tim. Quit being
coming off as a real heel right now with all this lack of donating.
Wait a minute. Do you not want to support them?
Excuse me.
All right, whatever, free, Tim.
Sir.
So yeah, it's funny because I've actually donated to them before, trying to get it to go away. And also I use Wikipedia a ton, so I'll give them.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite websites.
$10 or something. It was a small little non whatever, and the asks didn't stop. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we recognize that you gave.
We sensed that you donated. Do you want to donate more now?
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't even say that. It was just kind of like,
hey, the John Mulaney bit with the college keeps asking for money.
Hey. Okay, let's go. Should we work our way up and finish with our Game of the Year picks just to make it exciting?
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Sure.
Why not? Let's stretch this out unnecessarily. Let's see. Best adaptation. Here we go. So the nominees are Castlevania, Nocturne, Gran Turismo, Last of Us, Mario Brothers movie, or Twisted Metal. Now remember, again, for the four of us, it is who we think will win. We're predicting, not necessarily saying who we want to win. We can mention who you want to win, but whatever's going in here is who you think. So we're gonna start left to right. Dan, you get to go first this time. Who do you think is gonna win?
I mean, most of the time I'm gonna vote with my heart anyways, because that's just how I roll. But
that's true.
That's why I love it, Dan.
So what do you think?
You're the best of us.
I think Last of Us will win though. Even though I want to say Castlevania, but
okay. All right. Jeff?
I really actually think this one did not have a betting odd on it for some reason. Mario could take it, but I'm gonna go with Last of Us.
Okay. Kyle, what do you think?
Last of Us for sure. Yeah.
No, it feels safe.
If
but
Mario wins, I'll be like, yeah, it did make $1 billion. So
yeah, exactly. The success of it is why.
Mario won with money, but I think Last of Us will get the award.
I think there are some moments that people talked about for a long time after it ended, where people were like, "Whoa, that was a really good show," So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still in my 10 for the year period. So and it came out in January, which is crazy. This year has been nuts on television.
All right, so out of most anticipated game, let's see. I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's what I think will win. That's a tough one. I don't know. That's what I'm going to pick, though. What do you think, Kyle?
Final Fantasy, and I don't know. That seems like the big one. It's not Tekken 8, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
0.327% agree that it's not Tekken 8.
I would love it if suddenly I woke up in a world and everyone was like, Yakuza 8, yeah, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think that Star Wars Outlaws is the only other one I think has a reasonable shot.
I thought about that one, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even. I was talking to my other friend group about this, who are just kind of casual. They game all the time, but they're casual about new stuff, and they're like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what Star Wars Outlaws is. So it's like if you
we saw one thing about it. Yeah, exactly.
Or not E3, whatever this year. Yeah. And like you would have no idea what that game.
It sounds like a naughty 3. Naughty 3. Ooh, that 3 is so naughty.
Ooh, behave.
I will go with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There's just too much hype around it after the cliffhanger, you know?
Dan, you there with us?
I almost want to say Hades 2 just to be a hipster because I feel
could
like
be.
There are a lot of hipster voters. Yeah,
dude, Hades 2 winning would not surprise me, to be honest.
Right.
Tekken 8's the only surprise winner.
It seems like a Game Awards
Tekken
winner.
8's a Breaker TV winner. You're like, get out of here with this. Like,
I'd be a little surprised if Like a Dragon won, but not like that's the craziest win ever. I would be shocked if Tekken 8 won, but maybe I just don't know the industry. I don't know.
I feel gross not choosing Rebirth. So
gotta go Rebirth. All right.
So I feel like it's easy to be excited about that one. The one's coming out in February. Like,
what about debut indie? Let's find that. Here we go. These right here: Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Vemba, Viewfinder are your options. Dan. Actually, you know what? We'll change who's going first each time just to mix it up a little bit. So this time, Jeff, you go first.
God, this one's actually really tough. I'll see what I actually wrote down and see if I agree with it. Let's see. Cocoon.
Okay.
Cocoon.
Kyle, what do you think?
I really think it's between that and Dredge.
Yeah. Cocoon?
Say Cocoon.
Cocoon.
I don't even care. I'm picking Pizza Tower because that title sounds amazing.
You're going Pizza Tower. Okay.
I have it downloaded. I have not touched it.
I'm just choosing that one.
It's like a fast-paced, platformer type of game. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. I gotta go Cocoon as well. I want Dredge. Actually, I like Cocoon as well. So either one of those winning, I'd be happy with.
Dredge is the one I want to win.
Both are received very similarly.
I don't know. So Vemba might win this one.
Ugh. If anything, it would win games for impact.
What even is? It's no Pizza Tower, that's for sure.
Narrative cooking video. Okay. All right.
I feel like it would win games for impact than if anything. I don't know.
All right, this time.
A stupid idea for a game. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with you. This time, Kyle, you got to go first. Multiplayer, Kyle, you got to go first. Find it here.
I have it.
Here we go.
I got notes. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Yes, paper. Yes, paper bit.
Paper.
Wait. Which one are we doing? Best multiplayer game?
Multiplayer.
Hold on. What are the choices here?
I love
what I wrote down is not right. I wrote down
Fortnite.
Yeah, Diablo 4, which that game, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that down. No one has liked anything post-launch of that game, so that's not winning online. I'm gonna go with my heart on this one, and what I see most people streaming: Party Animals.
Ooh, interesting. Party Animals. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go with Baldur's Gate 3. Dan, what do you think?
Do we know anything about how Street Fighter Online? Has there been any issues?
And people are calling it the greatest fighting game of all time.
This one does have betting odds for it, by the way.
Yeah, the only thing I was hesitant on because I'm gonna choose Street Fighter 6 was
Street Fighter's a really strong choice.
I was close to going Mario.
That is currently the second favored to win.
Is Mario the favorite?
Nope. Baldur's Gate 3. I'll go Baldur's Gate 3. It's gonna win.
You got the odds over here. Get out of here, Vegas.
I know,
according to Vegas,
wins. It's the internet wins. It's not him.
Yep, it's the internet. I'm basically
Jeff
cheating.
Gets no credit.
I'm cheating.
Sports and racing. All right, this is one I'll go with first. I'm gonna go with Forza Motorsport. Yeah, Forza Motorsport.
It's a Forza. Hey.
And
Forza. Sure.
You can just put me down for that too.
Okay, Jeff.
I'm going with the betting odds, which is F123.
Oh, all right.
I would lose it if that.
I'm serious. It is Forza is third. I'm like, how did this happen?
Wow. How's going on
Vegas
an emotional?
I don't know, man. I think Vegas has. Oh, you know what? Vegas
has
their
shit about F1.
Vegas has their loves F1 because they literally just had a race there for F1.
So. No, they did have a huge race there. Yeah.
And it went shittily. So.
All right, Dan, we're back to you going first for Sim Strategy. Here's your options: Advanced Wars 1 and 2, Cities Skylines 2, Company Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4.
Ooh, okay.
This one was really rough for me.
This one's tough. I'll do Pikmin.
Pikmin 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff?
No odds for this one. It's Pikmin 4 for me.
Kyle?
I chose Pikmin 4 as well.
All right, I'm gonna go Fire Emblem Engage.
That's what I want to win, mind you.
I kind of do too, even though I really like Pikmin.
All right, Jeff, you're starting us off with Best Family. Disney, Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, Mario Wonder.
See what I wrote down. There's no odds for this one, so I went with
the odds. Killing me.
I'll tell you. I'll admit when it's not me picking it.
So all of them. Yeah, go ahead.
So family, I put Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's the one award it wins.
Yeah, I do too. I think this one is always for Nintendo's big boy.
Yeah, that was the one I am eyeing.
Yeah, Mario.
I think this is the award that it wins.
Right. And that's why I went Pikmin 4 with the other one. I was like, well, if it's not winning family, then and Mario's winning family, then Pikmin 4 is going to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Kyle, your turn to go first. Best fighting game: God of Rock, MK1, All Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6.
Okay. Yeah, that one here. There it is. Where did it go? Okay. Yeah, I got to go with that one too.
Obviously, you got to go with Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2. Am I right, Gaston?
Damn it,
right? If IGN are picking these, then yes.
Yes. Yeah. It is a 9.
It's a 9, and there's no disputing it. Dan.
You know what? Derek's not here. I'm going to vote with my heart. I'm going Mortal Kombat.
All right.
That's for you, Derek.
Doing it.
I'll go SF6. Yep.
Mortal Kombat.
All right, I'll kick us off with the prediction for best role-playing game. We got Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win.
Yeah. What? Maybe I brought this up last time. Why is 16 in this category?
Because it's got Final Fantasy in the title. I think is the only reason.
That's what I asked, honestly.
But okay, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, Baldur's Gate seems obvious. Yeah.
Jeff.
Absolutely, Baldur's Gate.
It's a free point for everybody.
Yeah, it's a free point for everybody.
Free point. Yeah, 3 points. Yeah, these are the.
You're predicting
get out of jail free or whatever.
Best action adventure, which is up here: Alan Wake 2, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, or Jedi Survivor.
I hate this so much.
Tough one too.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, I want to say Spidey, but I feel like Zelda would be the one. So Zelda.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Copy paste for me too.
Is where the columns get bigger. Kyle?
Yes, yeah. That one.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because this is
going to abbreviate Tears of the Kingdom.
Totkey? You're going to put Zelda Totkey?
Totka.
Taka, I don't even know her. All right, that's stupid.
You said the same thing, Kyle.
Did I?
Yeah,
Did he?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, I think so too, because I think.
Can you edit when Kyle said it out and then put me and just have me say it? And then edit all this out. Okay.
Yeah,
no, I didn't say Totka. I didn't say.
Because I actually think for Nintendo.
I'm voting Totka. I didn't make up that.
Oh, okay,
Nintendo,
gotcha.
Even though they've put out a couple of amazing games this year, we already named a few: Mario Brothers Wonder, Pikmin 4, Tears of the Kingdom. I think these are their chances of winning any of the other casts.
I feel like it would be weird. Like I can see this game getting snubbed all day, but like it has to at least get something.
I think it'll get something.
And this is the something that it's gonna get.
Exactly.
It maybe could get. Something I don't know. I think that's that. I think this is.
If it got best music, I would get it, but I'd also be like, come on, guys.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
There have been some.
That's almost
been some big.
That would only be if they didn't win it, didn't give it this one or anything else. Then maybe they'd give it best music. They're like, we got to give it something.
It's getting something. I just I'm a little hazy on what that something is.
Jeff, you're kicking us off with action game. We got Armored Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Remnant 2.
I'm gonna go with.
You print off the online betting odds?
No, that's just a paper I found. I'm gonna go with. It could really be either Hi-Fi Rush or Armored Core 6. I'm gonna go with Armored Core 6 for this one.
Okay.
Because I think Hi-Fi Rush is gonna win something else.
All right, Kyle, what do you think?
I think this one belongs to either. Can you switch back to the nominations to either Dead Island 2 or Remnant 2? I think it's going to be one of those two.
Which one?
I'm gonna choose Remnant 2.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. Sorry.
Armored Core 6 as
I don't
well.
think anyone gave a shit about Armored Core. I gotta be honest.
No, I just think it'll get a, but I think it'll get a nod.
I think it will. If it's gonna win something, it will win this too. But
might not.
I've never experienced a From game
it was like
to
it was
come
like
out
2
and then,
weeks in
and then
the zeitgeist
nothing.
and then
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
So weird.
Dan, what do you think?
I think it's Armored Core 6. Yeah.
I think it deserves it. I like Armored Core 6. It's just
Yeah.
very hard.
It's
I will
so
cheer
is hard
so
to tell.
hard if
It is
Hi-Fi
very,
Rush
very,
wins.
very good though. Yeah.
Like I jokingly
And the
brag
control-
about being a pro gamer and like beating Sekiro. I couldn't beat. I actually traded it in. I traded in Armored Core 6. I couldn't beat it.
Oh my
so,
gosh.
yeah,
And I was
reverse
furious.
me.
And I was
couldn't beat
furious.
Sekiro, so-
All right,
Bro.
Kyle, you're kicking
Yeah.
us off with best VR AR game. It's it. Anybody's guess. Here we go. Which one do you think's gonna win?
I think Gran Turismo 7 is gonna win.
Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah.
And I think that because of the wheel. That's the only reason I picked that one. I think it's just got. I don't know. I think there's a lot of racing fans out there, and this is the one.
I think
It
that's
does
the one
have wheels.
I've heard about all year. It was like, dude,
Mhm.
it's actually really good.
Dan,
Okay.
what do you think?
I could actually Village is it? I'll go Village.
Resident
I've
Evil
heard some pretty
Village.
positive things about Village, so.
Yeah, go Village.
We also, for those of you listening, Synapse, Horizon Call of the Mountain, and Humanity are also up for this one. Jeff, what do you think?
I did for this one and the innovation and accessibility. I did a lot of like research at the time they were nominated. I was like, which ones did publications give a crap about? And GT7 is like
That's the one.
heavily praised more than the others. So I went with that one.
Okay, cool. Speaking of innovation and accessibility, let's find that here.
It's at the bottom where it belongs.
I think it might be.
Ouch.
Not quite. Not quite. Second from the bottom. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. I don't know what their accessibility options are, but I have to kick this off. So
Yeah.
I am gonna go. All I remember is in Hi-Fi Rush there were a bunch of options if you were hard of hearing and like visual stuff. There was some options for that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna go with that because I like that game, and I think
Yeah, it's kind of voting like
no other idea.
what do you like, guys? I don't know.
Dan, what do you
know?
I'll do Spidey.
Oops. I want to click on it. Okay, there we go.
I looked up on this one. I looked up a lot of
Jeff, what do
blogs from like differently abled bloggers and stuff. And Spider-Man 2 seemed to be the one that was unanimously more appreciated than the others.
Kyle.
Street Fighter 6 is the buzz that I heard
Street
online.
Fighter 6. Okay.
Buzz.
Also, Diablo 4 got a lot of buzz too, apparently, but it was missing some key things related to color. That was like, oh, that's bad.
Street Fighter 6 goes beyond just accessibility of disabled, but it also has accessibility of training people to like play the mechanics and like they're just like it's just crazy how much.
All right, so we're on to community support, Dan.
Oh.
Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk, Destiny 2, Final
Oh,
Fantasy 14, or No Man's Sky.
14.
Okay, dude.
I
14.
probably could have gone through here and picked your
I mean, that's the
nominations
real
for you.
answer, Jeff. It might not win, but that's the actual answer. So
No, the
Yeah,
real
I
answer
think
is
it's-
Cyberpunk.
I think it's only between Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate 3.
The one game that's been celebrated so loudly all year, despite it coming out 3 years ago. It's probably that one.
Think so, Kyle?
I gonna go.
Oh, you didn't pick Cyberpunk?
I did not. Baldur's Gate 3 is actually my pick.
Okay.
Because the early access thing is
Yeah,
huge.
that's big.
you know.
It's why it probably ran so well.
I am also going to go with Cyberpunk. Okay. Jeff,
It's
you're
almost
picking
like
first.
cheating that they just released a new patch
I know.
ahead of
I know.
voting closing. That's
I
so
know.
funny.
cheaters.
Or I guess voting
So
already
we're
closed.
doing
whatever.
best mobile game, Jeff.
Oh,
Actually,
geez,
this
I
category
wonder.
doesn't count because there's no such thing as a best mobile anything. So
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with Dan.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna plead the fifth. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna go with Honkai because
Yeah, that's the
that's
right
a new
answer.
hotness. It's a new
25
hotness.
million people are playing this game concurrently.
Is
25
that your pick,
million.
Kyle?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to win.
I didn't know the numbers. That's crazy. But
It's
I'm a,
insane. That's like it's one of the most popular games of all time.
is it all
It's
like
insane,
children
yeah.
and like people in Japan? Basically, that's it.
I don't
Children
know.
in America and people in
Yeah,
Japan.
yeah. It's just.
Oh, Hello
popular.
Kitty Island Adventure. I mean, come on, guys.
Damn, there's a
Come on.
Final Fantasy game on here.
Yeah, slap that in there. Do it. I'm doing
Yeah,
it.
the one that you didn't
Do
play
it.
this year because you're waiting for it all to come out or some other dumb
Do it.
reason.
Excuse me.
You're perfect.
Excuse me?
Perfect, man. You're perfect.
All right, Kyle. Best indie. Where did that one go? Here. There's debut, and here's best indie options: Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, or Viewfinder.
I'm gonna tell you, I think it's Dave the Diver, and it's only because they've had to explain so much why this game's an indie game. I think it's to prep everybody for it winning.
Yes, yeah, it's an apology.
That's what my call is.
I'm gonna
Dave the Diver.
I'm also
because
picking
of all
it.
the explaining.
I'm going with that one as well. Also a little bit from the heart because that was my favorite of these that are up here.
Not indie, but have your fun. I'm kidding. That's.
I mean, that's why I prefaced it, so we could probably skip that. But you got it in there anyways. Yeah.
Dan, go ahead.
Sea of Stars.
Okay. Jeff, what do you think will win?
Excuse me, guys. I went with the betting odds, and Vegas says Dave the Diver. So everybody's wrong for voting for this one. Not an indie, fake indie.
Oh, I see. Everyone in the world is wrong. I get what you're saying now. Okay,
exactly,
cool. Yeah. All right, so I'll pick first for best ongoing game. You got Apex Legends, Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. I don't know, man. Fortnite just did a thing today with some Eminem concert that people couldn't get on because it was so jam-packed.
Oh, was that why there was a queue?
Yeah.
I was like, why is there a queue?
It was
Like,
crazy.
Why did you even know that, Dan? That's crazy.
Because I hopped in to
He plays
play some
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
So my son,
No, unacceptable.
my son
You're
was like,
unacceptable.
I'm in the queue. It's like an hour and a half wait. And I was like, that sounds fun. And then he,
And
after the hour
Eminem's in
and a
there.
half- after the hour and a half was up,
Fortnite. I'm on a map.
he clicked login and it said login error and it put him at the back of the queue. It was another hour and a half. And I was like, dude, just do anything else.
Man,
I
yeah, you might as
then
well just
started
watch
playing
someone
Baldur's
stream it at
Gate.
this point.
But
yeah.
I do still think Fortnite's at the top. I'm just going to go with Fortnite. I might not win, but that's my pick. What do you think, Dan?
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. I mean,
Jesus.
it's a good thing to believe
Jesus.
in, you know,
Jeff,
for
what do
some
you think?
people. So that's all I'm
It
saying.
is the most popular MMORPG
Listen,
ever.
we're not
so-
all with our cheat sheets over here, okay, guys?
This is not a cheat. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to win this one, and anybody else picking anything else is delusional.
Listen,
if they don't.
That's
Kyle,
fine.
what
If
do you
people
think?
are dumb.
Cyberpunk
It's
as
fine.
well, but
Is that because
Just,
Jeff bullied you just now? Is that what happened?
but yeah, just to combat Jeff's bullying, I'm gonna say Final Fantasy 14 is ripe to win either this one or the last one.
It's
Dan.
won the
Alright,
last
yeah, fair
2
enough.
years. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And it's gonna
That's
keep
why
winning
I
'cause
don't
it's the
think
best.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for proving the point. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
It's not going to win.
Games for
Not
Impact.
going to win.
Dan,
Big loser. Rigged.
Dan, you're picking the first for Games for Impact. A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonard, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, or Venba. Go with your heart on this one, Dan. Which one
have
makes you
to,
feel
because I
the
doubt
most?
you played any of these.
Dan's a
have a
big
heart? Yeah.
fan of Goodbye Volcano High. I know he is.
Can I say goodbye, Jeffrey, and your nonsense? No, I'm just kidding. Actually,
I win.
I almost want to choose Goodbye Volcano High just because that would be funny. I don't have
Yeah.
any strong feelings about any of these.
I don't
We're
need
going with
to
that one?
Throw that in
because
there. Just
this
throw it
is,
in
this
there.
is a subject
Throw it in
about
there.
impact, and for it to not have any impact on you is very
It's hilarious. I love it. Jeff, what do you
Games
think?
for Genshin Impact. I went with just Open Critic on this one. Space for the Unbound has got the best reviews of all these.
Well, that's not a bad way to do it.
I chose that as well, and I don't know what any of these games are or have any idea what kind of game they are, except for Volcano High.
There you go,
Because we-
Tim. The Venba pick.
so
Yeah, that's
I'm-
it.
Kyle
It does
also
track.
picks- I'm going with Venba. We'll see if it actually gets picked. We'll see. All
It
right, let's
does
get.
track because I got nominated for 2 awards, so that makes
Hmm.
sense, you know.
Now we're starting to get to some of the bigger name awards. Best performance. We've
gritty.
got Idris Elba. I won't read them all. But we got one from Cyberpunk, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Baldur's Gate 3, and Final Fantasy 16.
Melanie Libtard.
From Alan Wake
Oh,
2, you
wow.
think will win?
Sorry, I'm
Is
a
that your
child.
pick?
No, I'm reading her name. That's all.
That's all.
What is this,
Okay.
what is this Derek energy emanating from you
Sorry.
right now? Like,
Somebody's
miss
got
you,
to
Derek.
compensate, I guess.
do we though?
Yeah, apparently y'all are acting like them.
Apparently.
So who do you think, Jeff?
Oh, I didn't know it was me. This is an odds pick. I'm going. He's only a little bit favored to win. Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16.
Oh,
do you think, Kyle?
Neil Newbon, Baldur's Gate 3 Asterion.
Yeah, he's the second favorite, and it's like so, dude. They're like this.
Everybody wants to bang this guy.
Yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
that's
They
kinda-
usually
that's why
go
I
with the
chose
guy
it.
they want to bang. And
Who,
Ben
who
Starr's
was the most
acting, so-
bangable character all year this year? It was him.
I'm going Ben Starr just because I like his social media stuff.
That just goes to show how dumb and vain people are. I'm gonna pick for best performance because the character is hot. So I
did you not
really
see
he's
that?
Really good though, Dan.
Did you not see that like Lady D won like a year ago?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of that's where my mind was at when voting with
fair.
him. You know.
But, so Dan, you're the last one to pick.
He does a good job as Astarion. I just think that character's obnoxious, to be honest.
I don't keep him in my party at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
kind of agree with that.
Ben Starr. Ben Starr. Yeah, Ben Starr.
Okay.
I hope he wins. I like Ben Starr's socials.
Yeah, he's fun. He's very fun.
Kyle, you're gonna kick us off with best audio design, which is
Alan Wake 2. We don't need to hear it. It's Alan Wake 2, guys.
Don't even read me the options. Hey, let me see. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Dead Space, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4.
To be honest, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4. They're all. This is a horror category. You know,
yeah.
What's the best spooky noises?
I'm trying not to use recency bias since I'm playing Alan Wake 2 right now, but man, I'm gonna go with Resident Evil 4. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, this is tough because I haven't played Alan Wake. I was gonna say, well, it's a spooky game's gonna win, but there's like 3 spooky games in there.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I'll do Dead Space just to kind of have there be a.
Oh, there you go, Gaston.
Good spread.
There you go, Gaston. We care about you, buddy.
Jeff.
Vegas says. The Rock says no. Vegas says Hi-Fi Rush, so I'm going with Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that literally is designed around audio.
Oh yeah. That's
Alan
true.
Wake's gonna win a bunch of other stuff in my opinion.
Score and music. We've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, and Hi-Fi Rush and Zelda. I had previously, because I wrote down a couple of them, like the bigger ones. I wrote down Hi-Fi Rush, feeling confident before. Now I don't feel as confident as we've been talking through all these games, but I'm just going to stick with the one I had guessed. I think that's the one where it'll win.
I can't even remember because I only played like 2 levels so far. I got to go back and beat that before we do our.
It's got a lot of original music in addition to.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask: if it's curated music or if it's.
It's got a mixture of both.
Gotcha.
Dan, what do you think will win?
What else was on there besides?
Final Fantasy 16.
16, yeah. I couldn't remember what the top was.
What other loser games were on there alongside 16? Jeff, what do you think will win?
16.
Loser.
16?
That's me saying that, not Vegas. I don't.
Kyle, what do you
listen
think?
to Vegas, guys.
16.
All right. Now we're Dan, back to you to kick us off with best art direction. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Tears of the Kingdom, Lies of P, Mario Brothers Wonder.
Best
this
art.
is kind of tricky. There's some that aren't on here that I would have thought would have won if they were on here, but so it's interesting.
I
don't know who to take out though.
I'm looking at the rest.
I don't either.
I think if we're gonna give Lies of P anything, because it's not on the other categories, right? That's left.
None of them. Not even action.
Lies of P. I'll throw Lies of
P. Yeah. Jeff, what do you think?
P lies. Betting odds. Vegas says Alan Wake 2, so I'm going with Alan Wake 2.
Guys, is it 2 eyes or is it 2?
I say I go by 2 eyes. That's what's on the cover.
That's what I'll do. Kyle, what do you think?
I think it's Alan Wake 2, but I also think giving something with photorealism best art direction is weird. But I'm just going with what I think they're going to go with. So
yeah, no, you're not wrong. Man, sorry, that was me. That was my phone buzzing.
I thought that was me.
I got to go with Alan Wake 2. Part of me wants to do something different. I just think that's what'll win. All right, best narrative. We've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 16, or Spider-Man 2. And Jeff, you're kicking us off on this one.
Vegas says.
God damn it.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Shocker.
I know. It's who would have guessed it?
Kyle, what do you think?
The game that's actually about stories, so Baldur's Gate 3.
Ouch.
No, they all are, but this game is all about crafting your own story. It's not a diss, it's literally just a fact. I mean, I'm with you. It's a game full of narratives.
Dan, are you going Spider-Man?
Me personally, it's like my most important category because story is what I care about the most.
Now we're making you pick between Spider-Man and Final Fantasy 16. I'd love to see you struggle over this one.
Final Fantasy 16 personally was my favorite story of the year.
Yeah, me too. It's
Cyberpunk squeaks in there, kind of depending on if you're catching me in a fantasy or sci-fi.
Yeah, I think 16 was mine too, especially because the narrative, the lore, dictionary, whatever, was like a part of it. So like
I totally agree with that, and I could see it winning because of that. To help with the complex narrative, they added this.
You literally pause the cutscene and you can go be like, who are these people?
So, I will say this: Final Fantasy 16 was lacking. I'm not saying for me I needed this, but it was lacking a notable, memorable villain that you could point to throughout the whole game because there was some swapping that happened.
Yeah,
I feel like the battle they were up against, it felt like it almost came to a close, but there was still a whole nother act to go. So I don't know. I'm just saying I wonder if story-wise it's just not going to win. That's my for this award, not for us, but for this.
I don't think it. Obviously, I didn't pick it, but I'm just saying that Final Fantasy 16 is my favorite of the bunch for sure.
I picked 16. I'm picking 16.
All right. Okay, who went first? Jeff, you did. Kyle, best game direction.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. You got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, or Mario Brothers Wonder.
I said when Alan Wake 2 came out that art direction, the category is built for literally this game, so I think I'm going to stick with that.
For game direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Alan Wake. I think like when you're talking about like Sam Lake and like just how much of himself is in this game, like it's almost like Kojima-esque where he's so attached to the game itself.
He said Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2.
Oh, sorry. Do I have that in here somewhere?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. Yep. Sweet. I hate typing. Okay. Game direction. As I'm playing Alan Wake 2, I see why this one is going to be loved by a lot of people in that category. So I don't. Any of these would be good picks. I'd be super surprised if Mario Brothers wins. I'd also be pretty surprised if Spider-Man 2 wins, just because it doesn't have an overall vibe that makes you feel it's much different than Spider-Man 1, which I don't think is a knock against it. Don't get me wrong.
Certainly 8 out of 10 reason to not vote for it.
And I think Mario is a good pick because like when has Nintendo never like they always put out a game that just works. Like there's no updates needed. There's no like it's just like
because it's not just about the angles
surgical
and the cinematography.
in their development.
Yeah. It's how the whole game. I totally get it. I'm gonna go with Baldur's Gate 3 though because I just think there's
good choice.
I think I'll explain why, but it's just got so many moving pieces and every decision makes a difference and the way characters talk to you changes. I just think the direction of that, trying to connect that insane web. And by the way, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't get enough love for that either. You do things out of order, and characters will respond to you, by the way, differently based on.
That's another. I feel like that's another Nintendo thing where it's like, well, of course that game is just how well it like performs and
like you can do things way out of order in Tears of the Kingdom, and characters will be like, oh, you already know this because you already they'll actually respond to that. And so anyway, all that to say, I still think Baldur's Gate 3 takes this for the Game Awards. Dan, what do you think?
That last what you just mentioned with Zelda, I'll throw Zelda in there just so to mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up.
It could win this one. It wouldn't be the biggest upset by any stretch.
Yeah, I think it's surprised. I think it's between.
I would be delightfully surprised. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I do think it's between 3, the Zelda and Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. I'm just going with the odds for the next two. Baldur's Gate 3.
All right, guys, and then I'm picking first for this final category of best game of the year. I also think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win this. Dan, what do you think? By the way, the options are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Mario Brothers Wonder. That's a bunch of games we've heard mentioned a bunch.
This category is definitely rigged, but that's fine.
Rigged.
It's Baldur's Gate 3. I think that's pretty obvious, but.
Would you take off Mario and put Final Fantasy 16 if you had a choice?
Resident Evil 4.
I think he said Resident Evil 4.
He would remove this because it's a remake.
Okay. All
right. And that does actually add an element of purity to it. And so I see what you're saying. It's not a bad argument. Jeff.
Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently this is pretty heavily favored even with Zelda in there.
Yeah.
Kyle,
what do you think?
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate 3. Like of the shoe in.
Yeah. I agree. If Breath of the Wild didn't exist, Tears of the Kingdom might win this one.
Yeah, that could be the logic with the votes.
Which I don't think it's a fair knock. Just same with Spider-Man 2. I don't think it's a fair knock.
I don't agree with the knock, just like you're saying, but I agree
that would be the thought.
People,
I
agree.
Do you guys know the voting logic if they use ranked choice or if people just go, I like that one the best, and that's it?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how the voting works.
Because the Oscars are like for Best Picture, it's like rank them 1 through 10, basically.
And then they get points, like a point.
They could. I don't know. Easy Ally. We'll talk about it every once in a while, but I feel like I don't get a lot of details about it.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. There was do you guys remember Alana? What's her last name? She used to be at IGN and other places. What is it? Yeah.
Lana Pierce.
She had a video that YouTube recommended for me that I actually liked, where she talked about Game Awards. It was recent. I don't know if you guys saw this one. It was like a 12-minute
I
video.
saw the thumbnail. I just was like, I saw
Oh, it
the
was
link,
pretty
and
good.
I
She
was
gave
like, I don't
some
have 20 minutes.
pretty interesting insights into it, because she has in the past been part of the panel voting for this. She isn't currently, but she just gave some really interesting insights.
Yeah, she can't because she's a writer for Santa Monica.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was just good insight, and also just a good reminder for gamers. Like, sometimes her takes are very kind of level-headed. Like, guys, it's fine. It's just an award. It's not the end of the world. Like, I really liked her take on it, and also some of the behind the scenes that she talked about with it. Where
I gotta watch that then. Yeah.
Where everyone's given codes, everyone's voting is giving codes for all these games, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they play them or play them fully enough to truly make it. Like, it was just a good insight into.
That's definitely a parallel then for the Oscars, because a lot of them it's like, we sent you the screener, but a lot of times it's just like, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to vote for my friend.
Or maybe you watch and you're looking at your phone the whole time. Like, who
knows
exactly what the element is?
You can't sit there and watch them watch it or play it.
Yeah. Are you watching it right?
Monitor you.
Well, that'll be fun. We'll grade those next week and see how our predictions went. We'll also do some reactions to who wins.
I'm great about it, to be honest. Like, about my choices, that is. Again, there were so many, like, I don't know, contenders.
I'm with you. I'm kind of like, did I pick the wrong? I think I picked the wrong ones for everything. Whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Doesn't.
True. It's just bragging rights.
Actually, none of this matters.
I actually already won last round, so I can lose one. I don't care. I already won already. So.
My heart, because I don't actually care. Like,
philosophically speaking, none of it matters except our well-being, and that's it.
Yeah, actually, let's just turn this podcast off and go to something else. None of this matters.
All right, see you guys later. It's fun talk.
Yeah, good job. That was super positive there at the end. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that, though. That's Thursday night. There are going to be some really exciting things happening this week. Of course, there's a Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer that I think is, to me, that by itself is on equal hype level with everything else combined that they could announce at Game Awards. I'm excited for Game Awards announcements, but the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, that's the one that
I feel like that's kind of like the economy is going to move a little bit, like whenever that trailer.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for that. That's one of our headlines, but whatever. That's going to be on the 5th. So that's on Tuesday, and then the Game Awards is on Thursday. So those two things combined, it's a little bit of a E3 in December situation, just a little bit. We have multiple days of exciting things happening.
D3 December. So do you think that we would do a live reaction for the Game Awards?
Yeah, I might try to set it up if I'm free.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out my schedule to see if I can.
Yeah. Because it's on a Thursday. Usually, I'm in the movie theater on Thursdays. But if it's like, oh, okay, you or whoever else is going to be on it, then I would want to be on it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it solo. I can't.
I always have friends over and we drink and we watch it. But
oh, that's so fun,
dude. That's a good time. I might set one up, and then I've never done it where I've been able to use OBS and successfully host a Skype call and record that. So I could try to figure that out. But yeah, gotcha. We'll figure. At the very least, we'll respond in the next episode, if nothing else, with our thoughts on the show and the announcements there. But possibly a Thursday night thing. Okay, so even though it feels like the slowest time of year, and in a way it kind of has been because it's been an insane run in 2023 of games coming out, there still are some interesting things that dropped that we could at least mention. SteamWorld Build is out. It's on Game Pass as well, so you can go give it a try. I, of course, love these types of little city builder strategy games. I do. I love these. It's grid-based. It's very much like the Anno series from Ubisoft. So I like those kinds a lot, where you build your roads, you build your residentials, and then you have to make sure they're connected to certain resources that they need. They have to have a general store and a service shop and whatever. It's all the things you would expect from a game like this. And then you can upgrade them and unlock new things to build. There's a little bit of battling going on, not a ton. It's a charming little take on the Anno type gameplay, if you like that series. I also just like the SteamWorld stuff. I like the characters. I like the robots that are kind of in a Western. It does do the thing, though, that I actually have noticed this in Alan Wake 2 as well, where the voice actors have a hard time masking their accents completely. And so that's in SteamWorld Build a lot. I think this dev is in Western Europe somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. But I definitely hear they're supposed to be Southern and kind of like, hey, Paul, but like you can totally hear they're not American.
They're Swedish.
Oh, there you go. But they do a good job. It's got a lot of character, a lot of personality. I think it's pretty fun. And you also do get to go underground, as you should in a SteamWorld game. And so there's a cool underground layer to building your city where you go underneath and you can create these little essentially houses, kind of these little headquarters for miners. And the more of those you build, the more miners you can have that can start getting gold and parts and
That's
stuff.
people under 18, everybody, not the profession minors.
Sure.
Yes. Miners, not minors. Does that help?
Yeah, that
Okay.
helps.
Okay.
Just kidding.
So I like it, but it's on Steam Pass on Game Pass. I thought about getting it on Steam, but to me it's very much a mouse type of game. It is on console, but I like playing these games with a mouse.
Yeah,
much more.
easier.
I heard the controllers. At least just from I just watched IGN reviews and that's it. And they said the controller support was actually really good.
Doesn't surprise me because it's grid based. It's like the isometric grid based, and you can kind of swing the camera around, but everything's going to snap really well because it's grid based. So I think it kind of snaps to a spot. So
that's 2 games on Game Pass this week then that like might be better with a mouse and keyboard, because like the Dune game came out too, and I'm like, I'm sure they figured it out, much like they did with SteamWorld, but like it's interesting to see so many PC centric games.
The Dune Spice Wars one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I didn't know.
I'm wondering how that feels on a controller.
I'd be interested to try that one again. I played it a little bit back when it came out, and it was really complex and clearly not quite ready, like not quite done.
Yeah, I'm already done. I'm already done with those types of games. So
but I'm sure it's fun.
It's complex isn't.
Isn't
welcoming.
Also out. Did the Dark Prince come out? Yeah, the Dragon Quest Monsters Dark Prince game is apparently out now. I don't know how it's reviewing.
Style game.
Yeah, it's like you catch monsters and they fight with you.
You have like a curse on you and you can't fight.
There's been DQ Monsters games for years, right? Hasn't there been that series? Hasn't there been that spinoff?
I think so. I think they were on the DS or 3DS.
Right. I really don't know though, but the format sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
It's
not at all my type of thing. Like the only type of game I would play like this would be Pokemon, and it's because I grew up as a teenage at least age playing it.
I guess the only like Pokemon style Pokemon game that I liked was that Ni no Kuni, the first one. I hated the second one, the first one I thought was like a really good Pokemon-like game.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So anyway, this one's out. Is it reviewing well, Jeff? Is it on OpenCritic? Do you see?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Quest?
Yeah.
What?
Quest.
How does that spelled at the end? Is that T?
CH.
Yeah, I know it's spelled like Quest, but with a CH. So you might as well just spell it out entirely. Pretty much.
Because you have to hit so many syllables there at the end.
Yeah.
Quest.
It's like, you know what? Just ION. I can't do this.
Question.
I don't see it.
Okay,
I
so
do not see it on here.
I guess no one cares. No one cares.
No one knows that it's out, everybody. That's how it's doing.
The only other one, let's see. There's only first impressions. Sometimes I go to Nintendo Life, their website, and they'll have some reviews.
Because it's a Switch exclusive, isn't it?
It is.
Mm.
It's more credence to it being that.
They don't even have a review of it. All they have is like a early impressions roundup.
Yeah, I'm not a big Dragon Quest spinoff.
It got a 36 out of 40 from Famitsu.
I mean, the Dragon Quest Builder is popular.
Handful of user scores on Metacritic give it an 8.6. So there's really not much to go.
The fact that it's $60 is off-putting.
Maybe everyone also thinks that this is Infinite Strash or whatever.
Oh, that was bad.
I don't want this.
Yeah. Strash. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can we forget about that?
I can handle a little bit of strash, but not an infinite amount of strash.
No, that's too much strash, man.
Limit the
amount of strash I can handle is finite. For sure.
Yeah, limit the strash. That's actually the name of this episode. Limit the strash.
Limit the strash. Everybody.
A game.
Referencing a game from 2 months ago that none of us have played. That makes sense.
Right.
Gangs of Sherwood also came out. Thanks for reminding me of that. I know that got bumped because it was supposed to be out like a month-ish ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
And it got bumped back. This is definitely a maybe even sinking in sixes, not quite swimming in sevens type of a game. It's fine. We talked about it already. We played the demo. It is fine, but it's super repetitive, very shallow, and that's what most of the reviews that I've glanced at have said as well. It's pretty shallow. But it's not altogether unplayable. Like it's fun. And I bet you if you had some buddies and you wanted to multiplayer, I bet it's got some fun to be had. But it's just not my thing. So
yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that.
I like the concept though. The concept of it's good. I just don't think it's amazing. It feels very AA. Other games that came out this week, I downloaded the demo and played through the demo for Last Train Home, which is awesome if you like strategy games. So it's set. The setting by itself is cool. Like if I didn't even tell you what kind of game this was, I think you would all be intrigued by the setting. It's pre-World War I. You're in charge of a group of Czech legionnaires trying to travel home across Russia during Civil War stuff, so crazy like Bolsheviks and like there's all kinds of like war stuff happening, and you're this group of Czech legionnaires trying to get across this region, and you keep
appropriate.
You keep like encountering them and like things are tense, but you're not at war with them. You don't want to get involved. You're just trying to get home, and you've got this armored train that you upgrade and manage, and you can set all kinds of meters. By the way, some people see these games, they go, "No way, it's going to be a headache. It's going to stress me out." You can make it super casual, and hey, I just want to experience this game, and so I barely have to manage anything. And you can make it super intense, and you can like adjust even within those 3 or 4 difficulty settings. They have sliders for like how hard enemies hit you, how much resources.
Good accessibility.
Good accessibility, exactly. So they really allow you to take, because it's a long, in-depth, single-player, story-driven experience. It's super cool. It reminds me of the Commandos games, if you ever played those, where you're in charge of a small group of soldiers, and you're going from battlefield to battlefield, trying to decide how to handle different situations. There's even some dialogue choices to make as you're on the train chatting with folks. So I think Last Train Home is a super cool approach to the strategy and storytelling genre, and it's historically accurate in some ways, at least. There's a narrator that even tells you,
World War I,
"Hey, this is actually based on a fictional story that is based on a whole bunch of real things that happened." So, like, the game is based on a story that a Czech author wrote. So I thought the whole concept was cool.
The reviews are like really good. It's echoing what you're saying about it.
Yeah. So it's definitely not for everybody, of course, but I also like that they even give you language option where it says, do you want it in English or do you want immersive? Like, that's the options you have.
Oh, it's not like
immersive.
Czech or
no, it says immersive. So like people will speak
Ukrainian,
Russian
whatever,
or Czech and all these different like they'll speak their real languages. And I think the voice acting is good. I don't know. It sounds great.
I think doesn't Disco Elysium have that too? Because it takes place in like Russia or something like that.
I played like 4 minutes of that game before I was like, I don't want to do this. So
I don't want to do this.
I really liked everything about it, but I was like, I wish someone would just play it for me so I could just like
yeah,
totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I bought it on sale,
like
and I started it out, and I'm in my underwear in some broken down apartment picking up dirty beer bottles, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and I just turned it off.
Yeah.
It's my type of existential weirdness, but like I don't like games like that at all.
Yeah.
Totally agree. So yeah, there you go. Last Train Home. I recommend it for those of you who like a good strategy, story-driven game. Turok 3: Shadow of Oblivion Remastered is out, and I gotta tell you, $40 is pretty steep for this.
Yeah.
Is it 30 or 40?
No, I
30.
think you're right. I think it's 40.
$29.99. I thought it was $29.99. I could be wrong.
It should be $10. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it should be.
Yeah, I don't have my finger on the pulse of.
Oh,
what,
30. You're right. 30.
I don't have my finger on the pulse of like what remasters go for these days.
Maybe 30 is not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, if it used to be 20 for these types of games, and all games went up $10 because of the economy,
maybe 30
then,
makes sense.
You know, maybe it makes sense, but I don't know. I'm not buying it. You know,
anybody play it? No.
I like this game a lot. This is one of my favorite Turoks, but like I have so many games I'm playing right now. I don't need to.
No need for this right now.
It's kind of insane that these have just been like these are being made at all. Like they remaked 1 and 2, right? Like
they did?
Or remastered rather.
Remastered, yeah.
They remastered them. So the fact that they've like they're just going down the line
just
here,
trucking away at them,
yeah.
Hoping that the brand still has some sort of viability, I guess. So
yeah.
I'm hoping so. It'd be cool to get like a next gen Turok game.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd totally play that. Tevi is out. It's like yet another little side-scrolling, cutesy action platformer thing. Jeff, I know you played the demo. I did too. Do you recommend it or pass?
It's a pass for me. Like it's going for this fast-paced sense of action in a platformer that the mechanics just don't live up to. Like it's a little more sluggish than it should be.
There's too many other good platformers out there that do it right.
Exactly.
Like go play Convergence if you want a good action platformer.
Right. Yes. Oh my God, that game is. I still every time it's brought up, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that game's amazing, and I always like have to remind myself about it. But I like the art style like quite a bit. It's more like kind of anime-ish, adjacent, I guess. And it's pretty. But again, other games still kind of do that style better. Like even like Persona 5 Tactics, which is on Game Pass, like right now. Totally different type of game, but I just mean the anime adjacent style is more pleasant on the eyes in that game.
Yeah. Definitely a Metroidvania style where like you can't access certain areas, but clearly you'll be able to when you can jump higher or blow up that block that looks like it's supposed to be blown up that I don't have anything to use yet. So like definitely Metroidvania style where you're going to come back to areas to open them up. And then the Muller-Powell principle. What is this? That's not a game. It's like a paper.
Sounds like a fake, kit. Muller-Powell principle, which is in contention for like the worst title of a game I've ever heard of.
It's just a textbook that you buy for college.
It's a textbook. Yes.
Like, you know, like it's a textbook.
It's a third. No, it's not third person. That's a lie. That's the beer talking. That's Vegas talking. It's a first person puzzle type of environmental puzzle game where you're in this lab that is being raided, and during the raid you teleport somewhere else, and you have to kind of figure out. Each room you enter in is kind of like its own puzzle, kind of like you have to pick up a battery, move it somewhere else to power up something to let you get into the next room.
Oh, okay. Little Portal-like.
Yeah, it's got voice acting in it. The voice acting is very quiet and very much AA, maybe even less than that. It's not very good. It's definitely like a last gen type of game, graphically speaking. Like it doesn't even make my CPU hot. That's the measurement for me. Does it make my CPU heat up?
That sounds a little dirty, but keep going.
It does not heat up my CPU at all because it does not demand anything from my my GPU.
Jeff's PC has a soft PP from that.
It has a soft.
Not even trying to mask it, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CPP. CPP.
Yeah, soft CPP.
But yeah, so I played like 30 minutes of it, and it's like a 3.5. It's a short game. But 30 minutes was enough for me to be like, it's time for a refund. Like I'm not feeling it. Not jiving with the pacing of it. Yeah. There are better versions of this game out there. If you're going to play if you're going to play a game with the title Principal and there's puzzles, just go play Talos Principle 2. It's amazing. It's just one of the best games ever. So yeah.
Also, ridiculously snubbed from Game Awards. Talos Principle.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I was
that is a industry favorite right now, and like just wasn't even
not even mentioned.
Yeah, it's in like the high 9s or whatever review wise, and like.
Every person who has a podcast is like, "This is one of the best games I've ever played." You know? And just crickets on the awards end.
But we had to make room for Viewfinder at the game, and I like that game, but it's just like it's not Talos Principle 2 good. It's just not to me. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, one other thing that's new this week that I do know, all of us on this podcast are interested in the Godzilla universe, and then a lot of our listeners as well. But Godzilla -1, is it the best Godzilla movie? Maybe the best movie of the year, but best Godzilla movie ever made?
Wow. I mean, I'm not as educated. I think Kyle's seen like a lot of the old ones.
In every Godzilla movie ever.
Yeah. So you saw Shin Godzilla too, right? From the.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I haven't seen that one. I've heard that one's amazing too, and I think
I'm seeing I'm seeing so much glowing
Evangelion guy worked on that one too, right? Like the
Say again?
Wait.
The Evangelion guy worked on Shin Godzilla. I can't remember his name.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know that. Yeah. That's an interesting fact. That's a really interesting factoid if that's true.
I think he co-directed it.
That's amazing if true.
Yeah, Hideaki Anno. Yeah.
Dang. Wow.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah.
I know, it's freaking wild, right? In his hiatus, he's like, I guess I should just do this Godzilla.
In the middle of him having a mental breakdown, he's like, I have an idea for a Godzilla movie.
Mental breakdown. Yeah.
So this is technically the second live action one, and the Japan functions in like eras. Like they're in the Reiwa era right now.
Yeah.
And Shin Godzilla was the first one, and then they had like a few animated movies, and I think they were on Netflix, and they were not as greatly received as the live action stuff that they do. But this is a second live action one that they in their current era of Godzilla, and it's more of like a prequel. Like it comes out of World War II. And I can understand why they did it this way, because the last time we got like a World War II Godzilla story, the graphics weren't, the computer graphics were not up to
the VFX,
it was
a guy in a rubber suit, wasn't it?
Yeah, CG was just not up to what they can do today. So I get why they retold this story more or less. But yeah, it's incredible, dude. As far as I'm concerned, like I've only seen the Hollywood Godzillas, and not all of them are good whatsoever. 98 one was obviously ass.
The best.
I was a kid.
He meant the best, everybody. He meant the best.
Oh, my bad. I missed.
No. The young kids say that to mean awesome. I know.
We all know Roland Emmerich knows how to make great movies. Okay? We all know this. Every one of his movies are bangers.
Etc.
We might talk about Roland Emmerich a little bit later on Quick Hits. So.
Did he do Day After Tomorrow? Was that him too?
Yes.
He did. That's what I call the beginning of the end for his career.
Yeah.
Listen, you put Jean Reno in your movie, and you're good to go.
Doing an Elvis impersonation, it's good stuff.
Jean Reno.
That's good. Yeah.
Jean, but okay, whatever. Anyway,
Jean.
He's French. What are you doing?
Jean Reno.
You made him. Anyway, continue. I'm not.
Anyway, yeah, Jean Reno. So he's like German.
Could you do that again? I missed it.
No, let's not. Let's move on from this bit. Yeah.
So. Yeah, this movie takes place World War II. It immediately opens on this kamikaze pilot who has he lands his plane on this island, and he's like, "Dude, my plane's faulty." And then all the mechanics there are like, "Your plane's fine." So they kind of like are like, giving them shit a little bit, like you didn't fulfill your duty. That was the mind space of the Japanese army.
Sure.
Like, there was honor in your duty, which even meant killing yourself for your country and stuff, or having civilians be human shields like we see in the Pacific. That's part of their duty. So it opens with that, and then like not even 5 minutes later, Godzilla shows up. So this movie does not blue balls you with Godzilla.
Wow,
like
5
you
minutes
are
in, huh?
immediately given Godzilla.
They don't keep showing
like
just his tail and stuff.
The Godzilla with Quicksilver is like the biggest offender. Of that, where it's just like, you saw a little snap, didn't you?
The thing's closing on them. It's like that wasn't even a full
here's
shot.
Here's a foot.
There's none of that. But don't get me wrong, though. When that happens, and then he attacks this island that's not occupied by many people, it's just the mechanics there. And the pilot survives, and then another mechanic survives, and the mechanic blames the pilot for everybody dying because he didn't go to his plane and fulfill his duty. Anyway, that's how it starts, and they make you give a crap about the human characters. Like, I wasn't checking my watch going, man, it's been 30 minutes since Godzilla showed up or whatever. I don't think he goes that long before showing up again. But there are extended periods of human interactions of them, like of the pilot trying to put his life together after dishonoring, quote unquote, his country. And there's a lot of scenes about how Japan is trying to rebuild itself, not just buildings wise, but philosophically. Like, how is the army and the navy and all the soldiers? I mean, the regime has fallen. Like, they can't just live by the same philosophy of being kamikaze pilots. They can't. Like, it's just not a good, healthy way of life. So, like, they explore a lot of that in a Godzilla movie, which is crazy. But, I mean, if anything, that belongs in a movie about Godzilla, because he kind of, like, the origins of the story is he's kind of, like, created or awoken by the atomic bomb. Is that right?
Through the bombings of a specific island, something there mutated,
Right.
Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. And
whereas
he emits radiation
nowadays, even like in the newer Godzillas, it kind of just feels like he's kind of always been here, and
he's been sleeping.
They've kind of changed. It's changed a little bit over the years.
He's just been napping at the bottom of the ocean.
He's just been napping.
I actually
Y'all seen
went and watched
Cloverfield? It's like that.
It's like that.
So I saw this on Thursday night, and then like right after that, I watched a new episode of Monarch, which is the Monster Universe show on Apple, and they reference Hollow Earth stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I forgot Hollow Earth is a Hollywood thing. Like, that's not a not a Japanese thing.
No, Japan doesn't have time for that nonsense.
They don't have time for that.
No, they're not doing lore.
They don't have time for that nonsense.
No, they're not doing lore. They're just like, hey man, he's terrorizing Tokyo. How do we kill him?
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
There's so much lore in the new Godzilla, which I'm here for, but it's kind of like what? Yeah.
Let's create a universe, right? Because got the whole universe.
It's so you can have both monsters be king. That's literally the only reason it exists. He's going to be king of the Hollow Earth, and then Godzilla's going to be king of the above Earth.
I'm just glad they didn't have like look at him and just finally at the end say, "I'm your father," and then they hug. I'm glad they didn't have one of those.
And their big like CG hug. This movie freaking rules though, dude. Like when there is the second part that Godzilla shows up for is the terrorizing Tokyo part, and it's straight up like, I don't know if it's shot for shot, but and I haven't even seen the original Godzilla stuff. I've just seen clips of it. It's straight up like old school Godzilla. He's moving really slow. He's like
that's cool.
But the fact that the CG's so up to snuff now, when he stomps, it's like shockwaves, and it's like
and the original Godzilla,
bodies.
like literally, like toy fire trucks would like fall over because they were using miniatures. It's cool for them.
But in this one,
when you
he's
watch
like
it
picking
now,
up trains and like biting, and it's like the CG's so good. I got Nick Cage to help me for this. Sorry, I didn't mean to pick him up. That was an accident. But that whole sequence where he's terrorizing Tokyo, and then the classic theme comes in. They still honor that with the da 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 da, and he's just like slow walking.
That's great.
And when he lights up, they still do the blue thing that for ignorant Americans like me is in the Hollywood movies,
like,
where
I know that.
where he emits the radiation and explodes things and causes his own atomic bomb. Basically, it's incredible. And like, when he sets it off in the middle of Tokyo, the freaking like fallout and like the mushroom cloud is unbelievable. This is truly a spectacle, and the finale is pretty unreal too, because like they spend a good 30 minutes of like humans that were used to be soldiers, Japanese people that used to be soldiers in the war, like trying to develop a new strategy to fight something as big as Godzilla without using the same techniques they used in World War II, because they just lost. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, we can't use the same strategies. We got to figure out something else. and all that stuff is riveting. And then like it's kind of like this so much reminds me of Top Gun Maverick, because it's them talking about here's what we need to do and here's why it's impossible, and then they build up to it, and then when you see it happen, it's like that was the coolest thing ever. Like it's that level of spectacle. Like it's so worthy of being seen on a big screen. And I
love that kind of thing where they set up a rule for you, the viewer.
Yeah.
Like this is impossible, by the way, so don't expect this. And then the hero or heroes do it, and you're like, oh,
yeah, that was amazing.
He did the impossible.
Yeah. And like I had the pleasure of seeing it on there's a 3-screen theater.
Never heard of this before.
Yes.
Me neither.
It's
I was
called
trying to explain
Screen
to
X.
somebody and everyone thought I was lying. I'm like, okay.
It's called Screen X, and I don't know that it exists anywhere else, because the Cinemark theater that I went to is right next to like a home office type of Cinemark.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
I
just
imagine
picture Kyle
like
losing friends over this.
it's
And,
probably like
they're
a
like,
photo-
yeah, to
yeah,
us.
I know.
People aren't returning my calls anymore, Tim. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, there's literally blocked you on Facebook.
Well,
after
even
that.
when you described it, you were like, well, I have screens on both sides. Well, I register that as like, oh, the 2 theaters on both sides of you has Godzilla, so you're just making a joke that it's such a loud
No.
movie, it's immersive. Because like what you said doesn't compute at all, like in
Never
normal
seen
how we
multiple
understand what a
Yeah,
theater
so basically
is, you know?
instead of like curtains or whatever on the side of the auditorium, you have screens. And for some
So
for
wait,
some
is it curved,
scenes,
or is it just like
it's
straight
just
up?
on the side.
It's just on the side.
I really thought going in it was going to be a little more curved, and they did
Yeah.
reconstruction or whatever, but they didn't.
Okay.
But it was still like for your peripherals, it's a lot more immersive and brighter, obviously.
yeah.
But they did it on one of the auditoriums that already had a gigantic XD screen, so it was like, you know, for Cinemark people, that's like a super high def whatever giant screen. But they only did it for the scenes that were like that was actually an indicator for the audience, like Godzilla's going to show up in the screen, because suddenly we got the 2 extra screens. He's going to show up here.
He doesn't fit on a normal screen, guys.
Yeah, he doesn't. But
Too big.
whereas when they're doing those human, you know, those very, very emotional scenes, psychological scenes, whatever, philosophical scenes, it's all just one screen and they're talking at each other. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need this on 3 screens. That's crazy.
Right.
They could have had one person on this screen and one person on that screen talking to each other. You're like, what?
He makes a good point.
And then just
That makes
empty
a good point,
space
too.
in the middle. Just empty space in the middle.
By the way,
I
it's
gotta be
also-
honest, I would straight up walk out of that. If that I'm watching a movie like this.
it's like imagine watching a
Walking
talking like the King's Speech in the freaking Sphere in Vegas. Where you're like,
Yeah, you're looking at the ceiling, watching.
Yeah.
You know, what's his face?
oh, he makes a good
stutter.
point. Yeah. It's like, what? Why would you do that? I love the hell out of this movie. It's in my top 10 somewhere for the year, but I'm still working my way through all the December releases, which is normally when the heavy hitting Oscar bait stuff comes out. So
Yeah.
we'll see where it fares there. But it is the Top Gun Maverick of this year for me.
I'm so glad to hear how good this is, because I would have normally just shrugged it off. Like, I'll wait for the next big Hollywood entry, because I don't think they're the best movies ever, but I've watched them all.
You won't
and
have to
I'm
wait long
invested.
too, by the way. Godzilla and Kong comes out in like May or whatever.
Yeah.
The
But
next
this
one.
is just cool that, like, I don't know, there's another version of the story that I usually would skip.
And it's a much different vibe. You know, like
Yeah.
the Hollywood movies are very Hollywood. Like
Yeah.
you know, they're
Well, yeah, they're
Japanese
they're
movies are
like
just
making
different vibes,
jokes
yeah.
to each other as they talk about their podcast and stuff. I don't know. There was something about it that just kind of felt like, all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
just you know, and I like those movies a lot, but like
I do too.
any time a human's on screen, it's just like, oh, I can go make a sandwich, you know. Just,
Yeah, definitely. And I have to admit that Monarch, the Apple show, is doing a really good job at making me give a crap about these human characters. But the
I've
third
heard people
episode,
complaining about how slow moving it is. Like, there's no action. Is that correct, or is that overblown?
it might be a little overblown. I mean, I really do
like
care about
slow
the
and
characters in it.
purposefully paced are two different. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when someone's like, "Oh, that's just slow," I'm like, "But isn't that purpose?" You know, I guess. there's
Yeah,
a
and also
conversation
they're
to have
they're
there, but-
they're
Yeah,
calling
fair,
the show
fair.
Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, which already led me to believe going into the show that they're not going to have big kaiju fights all the time. Like it
True.
made me think, oh, they're going to explore the legacy of the company and not so much the monsters themselves. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of CG kaiju stuff happening in the show. It's just not a lot of it because it's more about the roots of the characters and stuff like and the company itself.
Well, also it's going to cost too much money to have their.
Oh
own
my god!
speed.
So even
the kaiju
Apple's
so
like,
much
that's
money.
way too much. We're made of money, but that's too much for us. Like,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
yeah, you guys
All right.
would absolutely love this for sure.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's talk a few headlines here. We've got new Game Pass games. One of the more fun surprises was seeing that Remnant 1 and 2 hit Game Pass this past week, which is super cool on both PC and cloud. Is it on console? Yeah, console, PC, and cloud. That's awesome.
Yep.
So I actually have Remnant 2 installed because I do want to at least try it out. I understand it's not the best single player experience. Totally get that, but just want to give it a whirl. So I'm trying to limit the number of games that I'm like, nope, haven't even tried it. Haven't even seen what it feels like to play a little bit.
I totally get it.
So
yeah,
what do we call that? A diddle. I want to diddle it a little bit.
Yeah, I have.
Little
There are
diddling.
games like Mortal Kombat 1 is the main one that I'm like, I haven't played that, and I kind of want to diddle that one. I want to mortally diddle that one for
That's
sure.
a fun diddle.
Sure.
It's a good diddle, yeah.
It's a combat diddle.
Competitive diddle. A competitive diddle.
Kicky punchy diddle, yeah.
Mortal diddle. All right, let's keep going.
Wow.
Mortal diddle.
That actually works in the crowd. Diddle combat doesn't really play as well. Doesn't
Diddle
sound as
combat.
friendly.
Mortal
Oh my
Diddle is
gosh.
perfect. Yeah.
Mortal
That's the
Diddle
name
is
of the episode.
Mortal diddle, yeah. All right, so also coming to Game Pass, there's a couple others that are of note. Of course, SteamWorld Build, we already mentioned, is on Game Pass now. This coming week, on December 5th, you'll get, I don't know what While the Iron's Hot is, but that's coming to Game Pass. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a pretty major one. I'm pretty sure Rise was that a console exclusive for Xbox?
It was console for Xbox, yeah, when it first came out.
Yeah. So now
a year later, it came out to PlayStation 4. Yeah.
Now it's on Game Pass.
I think that's most people's favorite in the trailer. I still like the first one the best, but I think that's the one that everyone really loves.
The first one was like incredible, and the second one I thought continued that incredibleness. And the third one,
well, and they opened it.
They opened it up.
Yeah,
right.
Just everything felt bigger, and I like the Japanese aesthetics of the first game, and like spooky kind of ghost story.
And her character arc in that first one is by far the most interesting out of all of them. Like it's an interesting character arc. They don't.
Yeah, the third one is like we're gonna explore her being a murderer. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the third one. I honestly don't. Like, if you like Kyle, do you love that game or do you like that game? Or I'll be like, I mean, I played it, you know?
Yeah, I beat it. I beat all of the tombs.
I don't think I hated it or disliked it even. It kind of just exists. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm with you. World War Z Aftermath also on December 5th, and then Goat Simulator 3 on December 7th.
Sweet.
Yes. I'll play it for free.
That's literally the GOAT of all games.
Against the Storm has been on my wish list for a while for when it's on the sale.
Yes.
That's on December 8th. Tin Hearts comes out December 12th. This one looks like a lot of fun and has great reviews, so I'm interested.
I like the visuals too. It's pretty rad.
And then Far Cry 6 coming out December 14th.
I know everyone missed that one. That's a good game.
A lot of people missed out on Far Cry 6. And I know it's easy to shrug it off. I know it's easy to be like Ubisoft, big corporation, all their games are the same, copy and paste, whatever.
Far Cry, yada, yada.
I get it. But I think this is a really well-made, super enjoyable game. High production values, not a ton of. I didn't hit a ton of glitches or problems. Like it was a pretty seamless experience. Great characters.
People's
good voice
problem is that like I just played a Far Cry. Like it's been a few years now. Like play this game. It's good. It's
good.
A good one.
It's really good. Is it the best Far Cry? Not in my opinion, but it's a very good one.
It's not my favorite, but I did like it a lot.
3 is still my favorite.
I do like 3 a lot. I do like 3 quite a bit.
I played 3 after I played 4 and 5, and I didn't even finish 3. So like for me, it doesn't hold that as special of a place just because it felt older by the time I.
Right. Yeah.
I like.
It invented the formula that we all love now. I think that's why.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Actually, you know which one I liked a lot that I know is another one that's easy to just forget about is Primal. I
love
Primal.
I love Primal. I wish it I was gonna say I wish they did more swings like that, but they kind of are because we are getting this Avatar game, which is very Far Cry. Different coat of paint. I think that's good. I think you can do that.
It might have more of a Primal vibe with the occasional modern day weaponry. It looks like, but a little more of like
because bow and arrow,
bow and arrow and spears.
Stealth,
Man, I loved Primal.
I'm kind of secretly cheering for that game.
Me too.
Yeah, dude. I hope it's. Please just don't be 7s across the board. Then I'll be
I don't want to pay 70. That's like higher than I thought it would be whenever it was originally
when it was first announced.
So like even if it hits at 7s or like low 8s,
you would have been like, "Do I need to play this?"
Big win.
Yeah.
I'm excited to ask you all if y'all played Avatar.
You guys play Avatar?
Guys play
Avatar? I do think. What do you guys think? Let's just do a quick prediction. What do you think it'll get on, like, let's say OpenCritic, a combination of all the scores? Not the scores make it's not the biggest deal. I get that, but what do you think it'll get critically on average? I'm gonna go with 81.
I was gonna say 81, 82. Yeah.
75.
On the lower side. Yeah, I'm gonna
maybe
75, maybe 74.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if it hits any of those numbers, I'm probably gonna enjoy it. Like as long as it's not like a something about like a 63.
If it's a 6, it's like,
oh.
I don't.
Yeah.
I got other things going
I'm not
on.
playing.
Yeah.
I'm not playing a game of a brand I don't like at a 6. You know what I mean? Like
exactly,
if it's an 8,
exactly.
though,
That's a really good
I'm
point.
Just,
It's like
my ears
well,
perk up a little bit.
actually,
yeah.
not even
That's a
like
really good
RoboCop
point.
because RoboCop, I like that movie that it's based
Yeah.
on. So like the fact that it came in as 6s and it's still $60 game, I'm like, well, then I'm not going to play it because
you know what made me mad about that game is that everybody who played it at E3, not E3, was like, this is the best game ever, you know. And then it came out the 6s, and I'm like, I kind of feel like everyone lied to me about this.
Yeah,
game
I feel like
They
they did
did.
too. Yeah,
A lot of
everyone,
lying.
Played one
way
level.
overhyped this
Yeah,
game.
they
Man.
played one level and they were like,
So
it's the best thing ever, you know. Like
So much
okay,
lying.
That's fine.
Yep. Totally.
So much Why you always lie?
Speaking of Xbox, they are teasing important announcements for the Game Awards. And they're just encouraging folks to tune in. So I don't know if that means we'll get like some kind of big Xbox thing for 2024.
I'm calling it now. Phasmophobia shadow dropping on Xbox during the game.
Oh,
I
it's
think-
gotta be.
Oh,
It's gotta
okay.
be. That's
Okay.
the one that
Baldur's
they
Gate-
said would
Baldur's
come out
Gate
this
3,
year. Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 could get shadow dropped.
I think that
like
gets.
next
I
day.
think that got. I know for sure it gets announced, and I bet
Yes.
it comes
Yeah,
out.
I think
like
Baldur's Gate will be
either
like
that weekend or
tomorrow.
that night or whatever. Yeah.
Like
Could be
when they
tomorrow.
announce it, it'll be like tomorrow.
You could
Baldur's
play
Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox tomorrow.
What's
Yeah.
that Obsidian game?
Avowed?
Avowed? Maybe they get a
Sure.
release date for that one because I feel like
Could
that
be.
one's the furthest along out of
I
all
feel
the
like that one's the furthest
big
one,
ones.
too. Yeah.
Could be like an Outer Worlds 2.
Especially
gets the
because they said that
2024
they
date.
pulled that game scale back to like an Outer Worlds level of scale.
Mhm.
So it's like now that game doesn't seem like the next Skyrim. It kind of feels like something that could come out really, really soon. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, who knows? But Xbox wants us to tune in, so we should.
I bet we get another CG only trailer of Hellblade.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And then not only that.
And I hope I'm going to use my one F word for the podcast, but I hope they say "fuck you" at the end of it. Where
Not
we
just
and
that.
we did this just to piss y'all off.
Where we
always
would
talk
do a
about-
hashtag before that, like
Yeah.
it's one word where it's like Hellblade 2, and then like it's a slow fade, and then it says hashtag fuck you.
Oh my god.
just because they don't care. They don't care
They
about
wanna
like, and I think they shouldn't care. I think that there's a lot of guff
Yeah.
about that game where it's like, just all we see is CG. I'm like, yeah, the cinematic game, all we're seeing is it being
it's a
cinematic.
adventure game,
That's
It would be so funny to me if they were like, it was a 20-second trailer, all CG, and then at the end it's like, look at YouTube for a behind-the-scenes featurette of how we achieved this, because they've already done that like
They
3
did that
times with this
before.
game.
I love
It'd
it.
be so
Yeah.
funny.
I gotta tell you, I don't want to see, and I think I'm in the same boat with most people. I don't see anything else about that game unless they're ready to tell us when it's coming out.
I'm there as well.
Like, don't show me anything else. I know
in
it's gonna.
fact,
Be
but
cool.
next time you show it, you better be saying it's coming out in the next like 20 days or something.
Yes,
Like-
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
with you.
We're at
Yes.
that point now. What are they even doing over there? These freaking Nords.
What are they even doing? What is she doing in there? I never
No
know
one's
what
ever
she's
I don't
said
know what
those-
she's doing back there. Yeah.
No one's ever said those freaking Nords. No one's ever said that before. It's a new.
I don't know where they live, but they're using
Freaking
runes, so I
Nords.
assume they're
I
Nordic.
don't know where they live.
All right. Sony and NCSoft teaming up for the speculation is potentially a Horizon MMO, but it would be mobile.
Sure.
Remind me,
Oh.
NCSoft is the people who did like all the MMOs in the late
Guild-
90s, early 2000s.
Guild Wars, City of Heroes.
City of
yeah.
Heroes.
Mhm.
So let me just say on those games alone,
great.
this
game.
is super exciting news to me.
yes.
NCSoft is so awesome. They make great MMORPGs. They make long-standing MMORPGs. They know what they're doing. They've been around forever.
Yep.
PlayStation teaming up with them is awesome. And
I
we
think- I
need
think so.
MMOs like more of those on consoles. Like,
Yeah.
we have a
Keyword
lot, but we need
consoles,
some
yeah.
like really good ones out there.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. So this,
Keeping it pretty.
they announced their plans to partner like a year ago, but now apparently it's official. They've signed and they're working on something. But the report is, without being confirmed, that it could be a Horizon, somewhere in the Horizon universe, some sort of MMORPG.
I mean,
Interesting.
That makes sense, especially with that world. You could really,
Yeah.
just
Create
tell-
your own
It's an
hunter.
interesting world. You can take a lot of liberties. You know.
Yeah, create your own hunter and go out on missions and adventures together. It could be a lot of fun.
Pick a tribe. There's so many tribes to choose
You
from.
can even pick a
There's
brand new
tribes.
area of the world, like go to a totally
And a new expansion every 6 to 12 months. You know, another part of the world, new animal and robots.
I just want it on the PlayStation 5. Like, I don't want this to be a mobile game because a lot of people are thinking,
Yeah.
oh, this is their mobile thing.
Right.
I can't.
That'd be so disappointing. It's like the Final Fantasy VII thing where it's like
Never
Ever Crisis on mobile, and I'm like, what the shit? I don't want to play it.
Steam though now, Jeff. Okay, now it's legitimate.
Okay, whatever.
Mobile is one of those things where as soon as I see that a game is mobile, I usually my reaction, almost no matter the game, is never mind. Like it just depends on the game.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and there's been a couple times where I've seen a trailer and I go, "That looks cool," and it's like, shop on Android
Apple,
store.
Android.
Like,
yeah.
This is why I don't want to play Ever Crisis. I don't want to play it on my goddamn phone. I just want to play it on something else.
Like, you can play it on Steam here in a couple weeks.
I don't want to sit here and play.
It's still going to be a mobile game. You're just playing it on the PC.
Yeah, it's literally going to be a screen that's like this. Somebody holding a phone.
Spoilers.
I don't care. I want it on something else.
Not a ton of news out of Nintendo. Just a few updates. Like there was a lot of speculation for years about Xbox wanting to put Game Pass on the Switch somehow, whether it's through cloud gaming or whatever. But Phil Spencer's confirmed there are currently no plans to do this. That was all just kind of dreams that they were, maybe one day kind of thing. But like right now, there's no plans, and it makes sense. Like Nintendo's gonna have a new console probably within the next year or two at least. So yeah, no current plans.
The fact
for Switch.
that he had to say that is very funny to me. It's like, yeah, no
I think so too. Yeah. I think so too. He did also openly acknowledge that Banjo-Kazooie fans, I hear you, because apparently he's been getting just bombarded with Banjo-Kazooie fans. Like, it's been 15 years since the last game. Right. What's happening?
What are y'all's feelings on Banjo-Kazooie?
I thought the N64 game was fun. I feel like it gets a little bit too much love, as if it was better than it actually was.
Oh, see, I love the first one. I mean, I don't love it more than Mario 64. I definitely... I think I liked that more, but I remember being at Walmart and my mom would be doing whatever she was doing, and I would just always be like, with the TV, the kiosk,
the N64
like,
controller.
yeah,
kiosk,
with the TV up like this, because like, with my
tiny,
like,
yeah,
it's just great memories, like wanting.
So
that
this
game
is the one that's not Crash. Okay,
yes, true, not Crash.
All right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
there's a lot of games that aren't Crash.
Yeah, it is of that mascot era.
Like if we were
doing
so many questions, if we were that did not narrow it down very much. Is what I'm saying.
That's why I laughed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be talking about Spyro. You could be talking about Gex. You could be talking about.
But before I even consistently talk to people about games, I was like, I always confuse those two, and I know that's like sacrilege to Gaston or whatever. But sorry, buddy. But yeah,
I haven't really called Banjo-Kazooie. That's the name of each of the characters. So.
I have neutral feelings. I don't think I played a single one of those games.
I thought the N64 game was fun, but it wasn't my favorite. And then
not my favorites, probably.
I remember playing a little bit of Nuts and Bolts and thinking, "Hey, this looks and plays much better than I remember," but I didn't really get into it. So that was the 360
vehicle based or whatever.
Yeah, it was you build your own vehicles and stuff like that.
Like it wasn't actually connected to the other ones, right? Because it was like a whole different style and everything, right? If I'm not mistaken. Was it connected?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay. I know people like the ukulele games that were supposed to be in the same spirit of them, but
right, the original creator, I think.
Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah. So anyway,
ukulele, I did not.
But maybe at some point I'd be very interested in trying out a modern day Banjo-Kazooie game. Don't get me wrong, I would.
Even though I don't have strong feelings about it, I really like the idea of old mascot games coming back.
Me too.
And I probably won't play them, but like I like that vibe for video games.
You like knowing they're on the shelf.
I like knowing that they're out there still doing stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me throw out a hypothetical, Kyle. Please. Think Mario Odyssey, right? Think that quality, Mario Odyssey, but Banjo-Kazooie.
I'd play it.
Cool. Sure. Yeah.
I'd play it.
Yeah. That's not gonna happen, but
I don't trust that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
What's your problem, Jeff? What's your problem? Why can't you keep it P? Why can't you keep it P?
I'm sorry.
And if Rare's gonna make something, I want them to make Diddy Kong Racing. That's what I want them to make.
Oh, sure.
Sure. The only other Nintendo news is not super positive. I want to keep it positive, keep it P, like Dan said, but sometimes you have to talk about the negative. Apparently, the Arkham trilogy on Switch. I haven't heard about Arkham Knight or I'm sorry, Arkham Asylum or City. So I think those are probably fine, although probably not the best place to play those if you have other consoles or a PC. Arkham Knight, it sounds like, is an absolute nightmare, no pun intended. I'm seeing so many jokes about how bad it runs on the Switch.
So this game ran bad when it came out. Like, did anyone think this game was going to run good on the Switch?
Guys, this game was 8 years ago that this came out. 8.
Like, I don't think it still runs on the PC, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it ever got updated.
I think it did, but maybe it's not great still. I don't know.
So yeah, I guess I didn't have a lot of hopes that this is going to run good. And it's funny because maybe those other games run great, but like that's not the story. The story is just about Knight not doing well.
It's funny because I think after now that time has passed, even though I didn't finish Arkham Knight, I played a lot of it. I think Asylum is still my favorite of those three. Just the smaller enclosed space and the story and the way it's done. I love Arkham Asylum.
The Metroidvania aspect of it.
So fun. I love that game so much. Anyway, so no surprise there that the Switch is not necessarily handling that well.
It's an 8-year-old game. It's still funny.
It should work well.
But, this is the system that can't run Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, which is a PS2 game.
Has to be cloud-based.
18 years old.
It can run The Witcher though.
How is Hogwarts handling on the Switch so much better than this game? It's so crazy.
How did they get Witcher 3 to run so? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's so many games that do run well that you're like, how do they get that running on there? And then other games you're just like, how is this running so poorly?
Yeah, Hogwarts. I know they made a lot of. They pulled back a ton on visual quality. We talked about this already, but like the fact that it can run relatively smoothly is so super impressive. Even though it sounds like the loading between areas, it's not really open world. Like if you play it on a console or PC, there's loading when you like go through doors and stuff. And
it's like a second stutter kind of.
But then once you get out into the open world, it's open until you go back into a place. And apparently on the Switch, it's divided up into sections, so there's much more like going into place loading.
I mean, it's good that they got it running on that thing. I think every household owns a Switch.
Listen, if that's
many people this $1 billion franchise is going to make more money, If
that's the price you got to pay to get it to work on that system, I totally get it. Like if I'm in that decision-making room,
the same thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, let's keep moving here. CDPR has said that Phantom Liberty has surpassed 4.3 million sales in just 2 months, which is crazy.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Oh.
That is a lot.
That's awesome.
And speaking of Cyberpunk, major update is planned for this coming week, including tons of new stuff, content. There's going to be new missions.
These crazy weirdos, man.
New drive,
they just keep on putting content in this game.
There's like car chases being added to some missions that wasn't part of it before. Like they're adding a bunch of stuff. They didn't have to do this. A metro system is being added in.
Yeah, and you can ride the subway, or I watched the whole 20-minute stream thing that they did. And you can just ride on the subway if you want to, and people will come up to you and interact with you and ask you for money or whatever.
This was the most asked about feature since launch, because the very first trailer is V sitting in a subway. And everyone's like, you never do that in the game.
Where's my subway?
It's so weird how people.
So you can totally make it immersive and ride in it, or you can just skip the ride if you're in a hurry, which most of the time I fast travel anyway, so whatever. But that's still cool. Like it's all the stuff that you didn't need to add. Portable radio. You can just walk around and have the radio going.
That's a good ad. New encounters and kind of like date experiences with your romantic interest, apparently, which to me, that's actually really nice, because like once the romantic storyline is over, all you really get are some texts.
That's it, and a phone call and a couple of
phone call, right? And then your game ending is shaped by whoever that romantic interest is, of course. Right. But the idea of them being like, hey, just because your quest line with them is over, we want this to feel like you're actually in a relationship with this person, whoever it is you pick as your version of V. I think that's really cool. That's a smart move, because it again, we talked about immersion. It adds that extra layer of you really feel like you're in that
crazy. World. They did need to do I felt like 2.0 and Phantom Liberty was.
I need to go back and change my vote for the ongoing game or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about all this.
It's Final Fantasy 14, Tim. You're wrong.
It's true.
Probably gonna win one of those.
Thank you for being correct, Jeff.
Nope. Final Fantasy 14 coming home.
Speaking of immersion, I'm curious what you guys think about this one. So EA has patented this ability. The patent was from a little while ago. It's like in 2020, but it's just now becoming public. This ability to generate in-game voice acting using a player's own voice. So it's called generating speech in the voice of a player of a video game. That's the name of the patent. It was filed in 2020, published last month. It describes the process in which players input data that represents speech content. So basically, you would probably read a number of samples of words and syllables and stuff. And then it goes through this synthesizer module and this voice converter and vocoder. I've never heard of that. It generates new dialogue based on the sample that you provide. And so the most obvious example of how this could be used would be make the protagonist of a game you're playing sound like the player. There might be other ways to use it as well, of course. But let's just say that this works. Let's just say that there's a version of this that they put up there, and it works mildly well. Do you guys want to hear your voice?
Hell no.
I'm sorry that whoever listens to this podcast doesn't hear my voice, so I definitely don't want to hear my voice.
Honestly, all this AI stuff is kind of terrifying, and like my wife was actually mentioning earlier, she was like talking about, she's like, this freaks me the fuck out, because like imagine like just taking somebody that you like you're mad at and you want like revenge on them, and somehow being able to manipulate and replicate their voice, and making them say some stuff, you know, that they, you know,
Doozy does that too. So yeah,
Doozy
does that. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't know.
Timmy Higgins is some national treasure or whatever his name is now. I don't. Anyway, sorry.
So it's kind of scary. Yeah. In the wrong hands, that stuff could be. You're
right.
That stuff could be dangerous.
I mean, that stuff's coming though. So
that's happening outside of this. Of course, that's a good point. That all that stuff is very concerning. But as far as it being in a game or really in any form of entertainment, my gut response is no, although I am curious about the technology, because I know AI technology is scary.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But I actually do like a lot of what AI does. Like I use it sometimes for different elements of work, and we're looking into it a lot, trying to figure out how we can leverage it and be guarded against it as well. So like, I don't know,
AI
man.
is the future, so knowing the enemy or knowing the new wave of technology is, you
got to know how to leverage
important.
it, right?
Yeah.
There's actually a new skill set, totally separate, but Dan mentioned AI, so maybe think about this. There's a skill set now that I think super valuable in the workplace. If you know how to properly and efficiently prompt AI to create what you need without needing to keep guessing and learning it, like if you're really good at, I know how to prompt AI to create what I need, that's a skill set that I do not have. I've learned as I play with different AI bots. Like I'm like, hey, I want you to create this thing. I don't know how to do it yet. I'm still learning.
Sure.
But that's an actual skill set these days.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's like learning a language. Yeah, I mean, you're coming in with a new language that you.
I don't know. I don't really want this, guys. That's my gut response. I don't want my voice in a game.
I'm not interested.
Yeah,
but it's funny because EA also back in the day, I think they were the ones who had your game camera could take a picture of your face and put you on the player or the character in the game, like in the sports games and stuff. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
It is not good. It did not look good.
Yeah.
It looked flat and weird and stupid.
Sure.
Yeah, don't recommend that.
taking a 2D picture and pasting it over a 3D model.
That's kind of what it looked like.
Weird. Yeah.
Almost like an old THQ wrestling game from the N64. It's like, why is the face so? Okay, Dragon's Dogma 2 had a showcase. I don't know if you guys all had a chance to watch this.
I did.
Yeah.
This game looks gorgeous and it looks so fun. I am so excited. They did confirm it's in a parallel universe to the original game, which allows them to, in some cases, redo some stuff, tell some new versions of the same stories. It allows them to do kind of whatever they want without worrying about continuity. They're like, oh, it's parallel universe. Don't worry about it. So that's nice. They kind of got that out of the way ahead of time, so that people can't get mad at them. But the combat looks amazing. They talked about some classes they have, and most importantly, the release date is confirmed, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, March 22nd, 2024, PlayStation 5, Series X, and PC. Pre-orders are now up. Dude, this might be... It's not as much as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Rebirth. I'm so excited for that game, but this is up there alongside it with games I'm most hyped for.
I'm gonna say there's nothing coming out in March, so I mean, thank God.
It's up there, man. I'm very, very excited for this. What'd you guys think? What was your takeaway from that showcase?
There's not that much coming out in March, period. I don't know what you're talking about. It's so early. February.
I couldn't remember when Rebirth was coming out.
I figured you were making a
29th.
Yeah. Okay.
Of February.
So pretty much.
Oh, February. It's pretty much.
Abba leap year. It's
pretty much there.
I do think there's a lot of games that are not confirmed that people are thinking are going to hit February.
Yeah, Game Awards might give us a lot of March.
I think we're going to have a little clarity of what the first quarter looks like after this next week.
I think the most unique thing about this that stuck out to me that was different from the first Dragon's Dogma was the freaking Shadow of Colossus type thing going on there.
Yeah.
And apparently it's rampaging across the whole country.
Yeah.
So it's like
and they were climbing and like hitting the weak spot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and it's like if you just leave it to do whatever it's doing, like it could screw up some stuff. So it's like you kind of have to.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
That's kind of the vibe I got from the director, commentary or whatever.
Yeah.
But that whole segment is like, cause they didn't have anything like that in the first one. Like climbing enemies was a thing in the first one, of course. But like something like a Titan like that, like I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty rad. Like that's pretty cool.
It looks so good, man. I also thought, like I was watching it on our TV out here. I was watching the trailer like on our 4K TV, and it, even though it was streaming on YouTube, so I know it wasn't actually in 4K, but the flames and the smoke and like all the effects. It looks next gen, man. It looks so pretty. I love that Capcom Capcom engine. Their Resident Evil games, I think, are just all of them.
Yeah,
like visually gorgeous.
That first game was it's so unique because it's like it's like it feels niche, but I think it sold pretty decently well.
And I think it sold well over time. It had a really long run.
But like the whole element of like climbing enemies just feels really good, and like it actually like animates really well. Like it's almost surprising that more games didn't add things like that once that came to be. Like Dragon's Dogma just does that so well. It's like, why isn't that a thing that's more common in these type of games? Like, it's just super cool and it works really well.
Dan, you know what you don't have to do? And I know you already played the first one, but people don't have to play the first one to play this because it's a parallel universe, and you can just get started.
Good. I'm so excited because I played only a little bit of the first one, which is awesome.
Same here.
But like, I'm not going back to finish that anytime soon.
I didn't get super far into it, but I did like what I played. We already talked about the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer hitting this week. That's exciting. Looking forward to that one. The Elden Ring producer addressed all the questions about the expansion, which was announced a while ago, but we haven't heard anything. The Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, that they've been very quiet. He's saying that, hey, progress is going well, but it's still a ways off. It's kind of what he's saying. So there's no new update, but he's comparing
something a little different. I would have expected to that be at the Game Awards as well, but
agreed.
Him saying that kind of makes me feel like, hey, we're not talking about that right now.
He compared it to the Bloodborne Old Hunters DLC, which I never played, but I've heard amazing things. People love. Is it Old Hunters? Whatever that Hunters DLC was called.
It sounds about right.
And I know people loved it. Apparently, it added a ton of content for Bloodborne players. I never played it. But he's comparing it to that with new battles, new characters, all kinds of new content. So listen, I'm fine with this. I'll drop whatever else is happening probably and go play this when it comes out. I'm very excited for it. But I'm also not like, dude, I wanted this in January. Like that wasn't really on my mind. It's more of whenever they release a expansion for it, I will go play it. Last but not least, Capcom has confirmed more Resident Evil remakes are planned, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They're going to circle back and remake 7.
Yeah, I mean, the only things that are left on the table are Code Veronica and maybe redoing 1 because 1's pretty dated.
Don't you think they would redo 5?
Well, 5 is important.
Yeah, someone. So I initially omitted that as well, but someone corrected me when I had this conversation elsewhere, and they're like, "No, 5 needs an update," and I go, "It does." Yeah. It does.
That's
6,
just
no.
that.
I don't think you ever redo 6.
Yeah. Let's just 6 doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think that they just uncanon 6 if I had to take a guess.
If they do remake it, they can call it Resident Evil No.
Or they make a new Resident Evil 6 that just happens. It's not the one that came out.
Sure.
They're totally different characters and everything.
Actually, you know what you do? You take the Leon segment because that was the only remotely decent segment in that whole game.
Yeah, that goes way off the rails, dude.
Sure, but it's like the only one that it's like it's like decent, you know.
That game is something.
Yeah, it's something, all right.
It's a game that was made.
I like 5 a lot though, and I don't know why I never think about that as a candidate to be remade, but I think that the co-op elements in that game are fantastic. I think that game is excellent, you know. Got a lot of really cool cinematic moments. It's not a story about zombies, you know, by any means.
Sure.
But, it's very fun.
Yeah. But you're right. I didn't even think of I think Code Veronica is the no-brainer, like the fan favorite that everyone wants, right?
I feel like that's the one everyone's calling for, but like oftentimes it feels like Capcom doesn't like to think of it as an existing thing.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's always been a fan favorite too, you know. So like it's not like it's a newfound love or anything. So, but the remake of 1 on GameCube is way outdated. So it's like maybe it is time to remake. It
still looks pretty decent though. Like
it does, but those tanky controls and stuff.
Sure.
Like it's just I think they want to give it that RE2 facelift. You know.
Yeah.
And it deserves it. I think that game is fantastic.
Code Veronica PS1 or Dreamcast originally?
Dreamcast originally, I believe.
Yeah, Dreamcast and then PS2.
And then PS2.
Okay. Dude, that Code Veronica has like one of my. It has like it's probably actually my favorite like intro to Resident Evil.
Yeah,
like it's just like Claire just running and all those dudes are chasing her, and then she does that like just really cliche Hollywood thing. She like drops the gun, but then like dives and catches it, and then like shoots a barrel, and everything goes explodes. Like it's so cheesy, but
they redo that scene in Resident Evil 2 the movie. So, but we don't talk about
well, sure, yeah.
No, isn't that how Arya kills a pretty important villain? Doesn't she like drop the knife and then catch it with her other hand and do a stab?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, thanks Hollywood. Okay, that's all I've got for headlines unless I'm missing something. Do you guys know of anything else?
Baldur's Gate added like 3,000 lines of dialogue in their most recent update. Yeah.
huge update.
So
That's
major
it? Just-
update so it's like if you go back and replay that
Big
game,
epilogue, right? They've added some like post game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So big update there. But outside of that, that's really it.
Yeah, that's a major one. I think people were kind of saying, as much as Baldur's Gate is, of course, many people's favorite game ever, if not this year. There's a lot of people who even who love it who are saying, I wanted a little bit more out of the ending. Like I wanted a little bit something else. Like I don't know what it is. Like wrapping things up, character connections, something. And apparently this is addressing a lot of that. I don't know if that's true. That's just
community
kind of
support. Community support.
Community support.
Yeah,
That's
you're
true.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Right.
True.
All right. I'm very excited for quick hits because I got a hint from Kyle that maybe that are you doing a Kyle quick hits? Let's just jump right into it. What are your quick hits, Kyle?
Not doing not the fun one that we're the no segment, if you will.
What is that one called? What do we call that one?
No. Yes, no.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, yes or no with Kyle. I don't know.
Yes or no with Kyle. All right, we gotta come up with a name for that. Okay.
No, but I did tease up. Maybe we'll talk about Roland Emmerich later. So I'll just talk about the movie that I saw. I saw Stargate for the first time from 1994.
Oh wow!
For the first time?
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Oh.
Pretty okay movie. I liked it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. It's funny to think that he may have peaked with this movie because like he makes some really bad movies. Like I like The Patriot. You know,
that was before Independence
I like The Patriot.
Day. So.
Yeah, I like Independence Day.
Yeah.
You know, like he has like 4 or 5 movies that I enjoy, kind of like a Michael Bay-esque, where it's like, Michael Bay's got a couple hits, but like, he's kind of a garbage director.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Y'all obviously know Stargate because y'all grew up in the 90s. I was late to this one. You know, fans?
I haven't watched it since I was a kid though, but I used to watch it like every day, like recycle it just in my viewing.
Very ahead of its time. We did actually find out that Egypt is older than we thought it was, so that was something that this movie called out that we were not privy to at that time.
I've watched a good chunk of Stargate out of order because of whatever reason. It
Oh,
was one of those. It was one of those things that you would
show?
watch. Like, yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen the TV show.
I watched the TV show out of order. I never saw the movie actually, but I saw a bunch of the TV show out of order. It would just be randomly on in between gaming sessions with my buddy, and he would just put Sci-Fi Channel on and whatever was on, and Stargate was off. I think it was Sci-Fi Channel.
It's Kurt Russell and young James Spader. James Spader that young is something else, dude. It's so different.
Yeah. He's great in that movie too. Yeah. Kurt Russell's fun. You know,
he doesn't have that same Robert California swagger, but he's good.
It's an interesting. Yeah, right. No, he's very dorky in this movie. It's fine. I like that movie. It's not great. You know, I think I rated it like a 3.5 or something like that out of 5. You know, like it's fun. Like, and I'll give it that.
Okay.
Glad I watched it. People call it the greatest sci-fi movie ever, and I'm like, I don't know about that one, guys.
Ew, absolutely not.
I'm trying to remember if I've actually seen it or not. I don't.
It's like really Egyptian.
It's a fun movie, but
like there's a lot of Egyptian stuff going on in that movie. So I don't know if that rings any bells, but that's.
I think I've just seen the show. Maybe the show's not even connected, but that's what I thought it was.
I don't think it is.
No. The show happens after the original trilogy that was planned, but the 2 sequels never happened. So the whole timeline is a mess.
So the show's not even connected to the movie at all?
Not really. No. If it was connected, it would happen in the future. You know.
Got it. Okay. Got you.
Game wise, I played a little Trepang 2. That game is very fun. I like this game quite a bit. It's just Fear. And it plays like an old PS2 shooter, you know, but like I really like the slow motion. I really like the exploding bodies.
That's comical. Yeah, it is.
It's fun popcorn video games. You know, it's not winning any awards, and it may almost be like too throwback for its own good. But I am enjoying it. I think it's a good time. Played a little more Alan Wake 2. I told you guys in chat my armpits sweat when I play that game.
Sweaty pits.
It's just weird. It's just a weird.
What
game,
chapter
man.
you on with that one, Kyle?
I am on like the 3rd Alan Wake chapter. Once I got to Alan Wake, I'm like, I'm just gonna do his story. You know, and I'll come back to whatever her name is whenever I figure out what's going on with Alan. I'm here for Alan. You know what I mean? So like, I need to know what's going on here.
Saga Wake 2. Jeez.
Yeah. Right. But no, I am really enjoying that game. It's very spooky. And the vibes of that game are just like all over the place. I can only play it for like about an hour at a time, and then I have to like, all right, let me go do something that's happy.
Intense. Yeah, it's intense.
Very intense. Yeah. I had some really good like, we're like, they'll just edit in a scare while you're walking around, like whoa, like the whole screen will be take over.
Yeah.
And it gets me every time, and I'm like, and like that stuff never gets me in movies, like cheap scares like that.
It got me in the first Saga chapter right away with that guy who all of a sudden, when you go to the swamp, it's like, oh.
Yeah. They do that a couple times in the Alan Wake stuff. I'm just like, God damn it, that got me. All right.
It got me too. Yeah.
I gotta get a save point because my pits are so sweaty right now.
Your armpits are sweating right now thinking about it, aren't they?
Yeah, right now they are.
Yeah.
I've been playing a little more Mario RPG. I am past getting Geno. Game is super jolly. Enjoy that game quite a bit. I should be playing it more, but I'm just not picking up my Switch a lot right now for whatever reason. In protest because my friends won't stop playing Call of Duty, I am now playing Battlefield 2042 by myself. And I'm having a way better time doing that alone than I was playing Call of Duty. So
it's a baller move.
That
game, is amazing.
Yeah. And like, what are you doing? I'm playing Battlefield. You want to get on and play Call of Duty? I'm like, I hate that game and I hate you guys. So
I hate you.
I love that you're playing a very similar game, but not the one they want you to play.
No.
My brother's actually in the middle playing that too on Steam. Maybe you guys can matchmake. I'm just saying.
I think it's really fun. The updates have made it very good. I played a whole bunch of maps I've never played before. I'm like, these maps are excellent. They got rid of the hero system for the most part, and it's more of a class-based system. Everything about this game is really good. That's what happens whenever you make a game and then you work on it and make it better over the course of 3 years, rather than making a new game every year and just passing it off as like a new experience. But it's never honed. As it's getting honed, now you're pushing that game out, pulling a new game in, and it comes in a state that has to be fixed all year. I just hate Call of Duty so much. Whatever.
Activision sucks.
Activision sucks, dude.
I
know Battlefield 2042 came out in a state, but like they buckled down and fixed it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no time to fix a Call of Duty. If everyone hates it, there's just a new one next year. They don't have to fix it or anything like that.
Like all those years of like worst company in the world, EA. It's like, are you people morons? Like, has anybody
always been Activision?
Activision's like the devil. Like, that's an awful it made me mad.
I feel the same way, Dan. And then just to wrap up, I did get back into Elder Scrolls Online and wrapped up the High Isle expansion from last year. Nice. And I'm on the last couple missions of the Necrom expansion from this year.
Dang.
So I've been playing a lot of that.
Going solo, Kyle? You playing with
No, I actually talked someone into playing that game with me. So that's been fun. But I am playing that alone as well, because it is very story based for me. I play it for the story. And the story's always good in these games. I always enjoy them. And shows wise, I'm just really enjoying Fargo. I don't really have much other to say other than that show's excellent.
Yeah, awesome. 3 episodes in now for that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Jeff, what about you? What are some of your quick hits for this week?
There are 2 Vampire Survivor type games that I'm gonna wait until Tim's quick hits to dive into more. Right before recording, I just played some more Super Mario RPG. But yeah, I just whatever Kyle said, it's just jolly.
It's jolly, dude.
It's so comfortable.
How about that music, right?
I'm not that far into it at all, so like I can't really speak to new characters.
At least get into the forest, Jeff, and just sit there. Yes. Like Dan was right when he talked about that. It was
to the forest.
Great track.
I'm also playing a Q1 2024 game. This is gonna make our podcast legitimate.
Finally, yeah.
I'm playing a game that comes out in Q1 2024. It's AAA, and I don't like it very much, and I can't wait for it to come out and for reviews to probably say the same thing. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
And I don't know what game you're talking about, but I agree, even though I haven't played it.
Sure. As far as things I'm watching,
we follow you blindly into this criticism.
Yes,
good.
Yeah.
You guys totally don't know what it is either. We have not talked about it in chat.
We don't break it.
Most shocking thing I've heard tonight.
You play games? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I play some games, and so Tim brought it up last week. The Escaping Twin Flames docuseries. I watched that on Netflix.
Yeah.
Twin Flames is it kind of started as a matchmaking type of service for extremely lonely people that feel like they're striking out on other dating apps and stuff. And then evolved or devolved into being a cult that's kind of mostly led by it's led by a couple, but it's mostly led by the guy.
It's the guy. She seems brainwashed, dude. She's not there.
And of course his name's Jeff, because why would his name be something other than my own?
Sure.
Dick.
He looks like Joseph from Far Cry 5.
Oh my god.
Like sometimes he has different looks, but he has the long hair with the pulls back into the man
He's
bun.
embraced the Jesus.
That's the cult
thing.
look.
Yeah,
dude, he looks like Joseph from Far Cry 5.
Yeah,
I think I killed you already.
And it's crazy the amount of footage that they've gotten from most of their meetings have been over Zoom, because a lot of the members are from other states, and so one of the ex-members got all the footage from a lot of meetings. So you're seeing how he actually behaves in the meetings, and He's just such an a-hole, dude. He's such a big a-hole. It's such a good show. It's 3 episodes. It's good. I watched on Amazon Prime a Barry Sanders documentary called Bye Bye Barry. And for those that don't know, this dude played for the Detroit Lions. He was a running back in the he was drafted in the late 80s, early 90s, played for 10 years, and then he just left. And people were like, what the hell? Where'd he go?
Still good.
Yeah. And he was still good. It wasn't like his best season that he left on, but like he was still like, he was Mr. 2000. Like, I mean, it was a big deal for him to hit 2,000 yards.
2,000 yards in a season.
Yeah. So like he was one of the best running backs, period, and on his way to breaking. So, but the documentary is all about his demeanor as a player, and he's a rare breed that really doesn't give a crap about any of that. He's just like, give me the ball, I'm gonna run it in and try to score. And then as soon as he's done, he's kind of like Forrest Gump, but he's got like his faculties. He's a smart guy. But when he's done, he's just like, oh, I'm done. And he just hands the ball to the ref, which is rare. Normally it's you just put it wherever because you don't care. Refs clean up your mess. But he's just like, here you go, sir. Like, he's just super nice. Doesn't care about accolades at all. Like, I think he was about to break a record for a single game yards. And he was like, you know what? We're like 30 points ahead. I'm going to let the other guys play. And he just sat out. He doesn't care. He does not care. I love this. I love this dude. But they interviewed like all the Detroit fans that you could think of, all the Lions fans, Jeff Daniels, Eminem, Tim Allen, all these people showed up to be like, where the hell did Barry Sanders go?
Yeah.
And it's just funny to see Eminem on there going, what the hell? You bailed on me now, I'm mad.
I'm mad.
So funny. He was like, I cried. I was like, what? It's super fascinating. And his logic makes sense to any adult, any conscious adult, like anybody that is capable of thinking their own thoughts and not being a team-minded person that's like, you left my team. You understand why you left.
The more current equivalent was when Andrew Luck retired from the Colts before he turned 30 as a quarterback, which was unheard of. And so, it was the same thing where it's like, wait, you're leaving? You still have 10 more years. What are you doing? So, there's definitely an emotional connection.
They highlighted in the season that he left, they highlighted the injuries that happened to Lions players. There was one in particular that happened that year where a player ended up paralyzed temporarily until like in the 2000s, more recently. And then he was there also for another player that got injured and he was permanently paralyzed. So he's kind of like seeing all these things fall into place, and he's like,
I want to live the rest of my life.
He's like, I'm not winning Super Bowls. I'm not winning playoff games. I'm kind of done.
Lions suck.
Yeah, they were terrible. He was the team, basically.
Yeah.
What an interesting freaking guy. But
that's on Prime, right? I gotta watch that. I love
it. Is okay. There are a couple movies coming to Netflix that I saw early in the theaters. One's called Leave the World Behind, and it's directed by, I think, written by Sam Esmail, who did Mr. Robot. And the best comparison that I've seen for this movie is like, this is if M. Night Shyamalan was really consistently good at making movies. This felt like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but it was really good. Like like the tension was there, the mystery, the aura of it was like, there was lots of surprises and stuff. It's about
this is Ethan Hawke, Julia Roberts, like this all-star cast, right?
Yeah. Okay. Mahershala Ali, Marshmallow Ali, whatever. Ali, Kevin Bacon shows up as like a QAnon guy, which is really funny. He's got like a hat and he's like, get off my lawn and stuff like that. It's really funny. But it's kind of like Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke go on like this getaway, and while they're away from the New York City and they're really far away from civilization altogether, blackouts start happening, and there's a whole mystery element there. Mahershala Ali shows up to their place that they're staying at because he owns the place. So there's a lot of tension there of like,
and his family, right?
Family, like it's like his daughter shows up too. But like the movie is exploring like what's the whole reason that these blackouts are happening and that electric cars are like turning on civilization and planes are crashing.
AI, it's like Dan said.
Yeah, it's all this AI stuff, and there's an element of it that like they make a commentary about like Tesla and constantly being connected to the internet, and then they even make an argument for physical media mattering, like DVDs and Blu-rays. At one point, I'm like, oh, this is a movie about physical media.
Or like paper that Kyle was using earlier tonight. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly.
Physical media.
Let's see, what else did I watch? Hold I also watched today. I watched Maestro, which is Bradley Cooper's.
I got paper too.
Yes.
Oh,
Paper gang.
Paper gang.
Paper gang.
So I watched Maestro, which is Bradley Cooper's latest movie. He directed it and wrote it and starred in it as Leonard Bernstein. And if you're not into like, Leonard Bernstein is regarded as one of the best, if not the best, American composer ever and conductor ever. So if you're not into that, he scored West Side Story. That's his most famous thing. He did the music for it. Stephen Sondheim did the lyrics for it. Freaking legendary score, soundtrack. Anyway, so if you're not into that, you're probably not going to be into the movie. But he's in it. Carey Mulligan's in it, and she's like second lead. She's in it as much as he is. And the cinematography is unfreaking believable, dude. It's like one of the best looking movies I've seen this year. And Carey Mulligan, she's not going to win an award, unfortunately. I think it's Emma Stone's year, but for her Frankenstein movie. Yeah, she's incredible. It's a slower movie, but by the end of it, I was like hypnotized by it. It was that good. And then the last one I saw, Wish, Disney's Wish. It was like AI wrote a Disney animated movie.
You wish you hadn't seen it.
Yeah. It was. I wish I saw Encanto again instead, because that was a good. Yeah.
Disney the AI movie. This is a funny concept.
It really did.
AI, can you give me a subpart Disney movie
like
and it like
the
pumps
songs,
out Wish?
Dude, the songs straight up sound like a human didn't write them. Like they sound like the melodies and everything sound like Dudesy wrote them. And I'm like, this is terrible. What the hell?
The same studio that made the Gollum game, I think, probably.
Yeah, same studio, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not that I still ended up rating it a little positively on like whatever Letterboxd, but it was still like, what the hell was that? Like the ending was just like the writers were in the writing room going like, well, we have to end the movie, so we might as well just be like, and then the bad guy's defeated because reasons. That's it. There was no like.
Oh, it was their version of yada yada yada.
Yeah, they just yada
I love
yada.
That we live in a world where like Bob Iger is like, I just don't know why we're not selling right now, and they're putting out movies like this. You know, like it's so funny to me.
By the way,
I just don't know why we're not hit after hit after hit.
Did you see the headline of one of his comments as to why he thinks that they're not hitting?
Oh, because there's not enough executives on set.
Not enough executives on set.
There's not enough suits.
Oh, that I didn't see.
What?
Yeah. We got to get more suits on sets, guys. That's the problem here.
What's so strange to me
is
like
this guy a year ago.
Because like when he was doing his tenure,
we were like, yes, yeah.
He's like he was doing a good job.
CEO ever like a year ago, and now we're all like, this guy, man, this boomer needs to get out of here.
I almost feel like he like is trying to get like fired from
he did come back from retirement, so it's like
right,
I wonder if he is trying to like, you know what, I'm just gonna burn bridges so they never ask me back again.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if that's what it is, because the previous guy, they hated each other. It was like that was a famous story.
That dude
is like and his name was Bob as well. But like Bob Chapek, whatever, he was like trying to burn it. He was literally trying to burn everything down that Iger built because he hated him.
Yeah.
And so like the share people, whatever they're called, shareholders, they kicked him out.
Douchebags.
Yeah, they Game of Thrones him and murdered it in front of everybody. Yeah, the council.
The tribunal of the ears of Mouse.
Yeah.
Tribunal of
and
Mouse.
Iger came back in not giving a shit about any of it anymore, and it's pretty clear.
Iger's been checked out of the wheels since the second he got back.
Yeah, the second he got back. Yeah. Second he got back. Yeah. It's a bummer.
Yeah, that's CEO talk with current gen.
I will say about the movie Wish, though, the movie Wish, Chris Pine is excellent in it. But you know, for what is asked of him, he's really good. He's like the villain in it, and he's really good, and he's not a bad singer either.
Yeah, he's a good singer. He did that Into the Woods movie. He could sing pretty well.
Kind of hated that movie, but yeah, he did that movie.
But some of the songs were decent, or at least the performance.
But James Corden's in it, so it can go to hell and die in a fire.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
James Corden.
He's married to Emily Blunt because yes, that's a thing that can happen.
Jeff, was that your last quick hit? Was hating James Corden? Was that your last one?
Actually, if we could just focus on that for the next 30 minutes,
let's just dig in.
He's the guy who's like mean to people at restaurants, right? I don't really know much about James Corden.
There's a dude I follow on TikTok
that's all I know.
Dead-on impression of him, like, I'm just so upset.
Okay, no, this is the shorter guy. Yeah,
he did like the car karaoke stuff with a lot of celebrities.
Yeah, he ruined Coach for a lot.
That dude. That dude. Oh,
Cats,
that guy's annoying.
I always get all the late night host guys mixed up, so all their names are all blended together.
Well, James Corden, they murdered him like they did the previous Disney CEO. They murdered him after he got fired. So
yeah, that's why I don't hear about him anymore. Yeah,
he's gone. He's gone. Dan, what about you? Any quick hits of stuff you were playing or watching?
I mean, just mainly outside of stream, focusing on Baldur's Gate, so I'm still plugging away at that. Yes. But I finished last night Mario RPG.
Nice.
Congrats.
It was it's just thinking back to like playing the game as a kid and then playing it now is just such it's such a different experience because I know the game so well.
Yeah.
And just like the quality of life stuff in this game, just in of itself, it being quality of life, but also it does kind of make the game a bit easier too. Like the fact that when you hit an enemy, sometimes the other enemies also get hit. And then you have like the team up attacks, which you don't have to use. But like, yeah, you just like can really lay in some crazy damage with that thing. It's like, wow, okay, that's like easy mode. But which is fine because, you know, if you're just going in just to kind of experience it and see the charm of the game, I think those things are okay. But, you know, again, you have the choice to use it, whether you do or don't.
Did you find the difficulty of it, like historically, an appealing aspect of it? I never heard that before.
No, I remember as a kid, because it was my first RPG. I remember as a kid thinking it was difficult for me at that time. Okay. But it's not a difficult game. No.
Okay.
Definitely adding new age stuff to it. To an old game is just inherently going to make it easier.
Yeah. I think this is a fantastic RPG to introduce to, like, say, your kid who like might be interested in playing an RPG. Like, oh, hey, try this. I think it's a fantastic,
such a good training wheels RPG for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
And now we're talking. You know, the director is like, well, I kind of would like to do another one of these, and I'm like, if we do get that, it's because of them remaking this game.
What if it's Geno RPG, Dan?
Yeah. The Geno saga.
My wiener will explode. All right.
It'd be cool. Yeah. Not your wiener exploding, but getting a sequel.
Yeah.
That's actually just from his exploding wiener syndrome. It's unrelated to the game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Unconnected.
It's a problem. But yeah, it's I'm still gonna, because they said themselves like they anticipate some fun surprises and stuff. So I went back and fought a certain something that, you know, I won't say too much about, that was in the original, and the way that actually happens is super, super cool. If you're very familiar with what that is, and you'll kind of see the differences, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm curious to see what like these potential surprises are. I have to kind of like dig around in the game and just see. But
nice.
Yeah.
Is that it for Dan?
Oh, and I have 111 out of 120 stars in Mario 64. So I need 9
so
more.
Close.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
9 more.
In striking distance.
Yeah.
So
do you know where the stars are? Are you?
Well, like most of them, I had mentioned when I realized what the problem was. I missed all the 100 coin stars in every single level because I completely forgot those were, you know, a star that you can get. So I'm having to.
You just have to do a measly job of beating the whole game over again.
Basically.
Do it all again.
Well, like some of the levels are incredibly annoying because like there's like literally like I think one of them somebody was saying there's in the entire level 104 coins.
Yeah, there's not much room for error there.
Right, exactly. Right. So it's like if you miss one, it disappears. The coins disappear.
And dude, they put some in some mean spots, like at the top of a tower.
Oh yeah,
it's like hovering over, like.
Oh yeah. So I'm having to go back and get them, but I mean I got 9 more, so we're almost there.
That's the thing about these Mario games. Even Mario Wonder is doing it, where it's like it's very accessible, mostly easy. You can breeze through the main game, but if you really want to challenge, we got these super hard levels, and if you really want 100% it. Not only do you have to do these insane levels, some of them get so hard, but also you have to get to the top of the flag of every level for it to be 100%. Like Nintendo does this, man. This is their thing.
Yeah. Without achievements, by the way, because I'm achievement and trophy oriented. And like Nintendo's like, no, you just like, do it because you.
I like how they
want to brag.
I remember like basically they're like, we're not doing it because everybody else does that. And I'm like, that's kind of gangster. I mean, I kind of wish you did, but I get what you're doing here. Yeah.
I know individual games sometimes will have their own little achievement system built in, but usually not. Yeah. I still think Nintendo could benefit from, like, I don't know, whatever they want to call them, stickers or something cute like Nintendo likes to do. Stamps. Like I could see that.
I wish they would like look into like the street passing from the DS and use that for the Switch,
sure.
like, and you can wrap that into this new sticker system or whatever.
That was one of the most innovative things they did with the DS.
It's the greatest thing ever. Yeah, I wanted to bring my 3DS everywhere, or my DS or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. All right, I got a couple quick things. I played this game called Ruiner, which is fine. It's got a cool aesthetic to it, but I just don't think the gameplay is all that fine-tuned. It's a kind of isometric game with super fast-paced, think Hotline Miami sort of style combat because of how.
I played this game.
Yeah.
I got a great look
actually
to
told
it.
me to play this game, and I kind of feel the same way that you did about it.
It's got a great look to it, and you pick up guns and weapons and stuff real fast. I didn't play more than like 30 minutes of it, so I could play some more to really see if it grabs me. But yeah, I just kind of felt like I don't really want to play. It was very arcadey.
I kind of felt whatever about it too. So.
It's a little whatever, but it's got a great vibe. Like the visuals are really cool. I think it's got a good look to it. So I played that, and then Jeff talked about these. I don't know what to call them. Vampire Survivor likes. I don't know what to call them, but there's a lot of.
IGN calls them garlic lights.
Garlic likes. Yeah. No, I don't hate that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many of them right now because the Vampire Survivor success, of course, got a lot of
we should just call them Robotron likes, really. But
all right, fair enough. Let's do that. But yeah, there's so many of them out there. I think they're also relatively easier. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're easy to make, but easier compared to some others where it's like you're just creating these huge waves of enemies. And there's so many, it's hard to weed your way through to get to the good ones. And I found two that I think are quite good. I talked about Renfield earlier this year. I think the Renfield one's pretty fun. I think Death Must Die might be my favorite one. It's really, really good. It's an early access, so there's only one map right now, but there's a ton of enemies and a ton of upgrades. And they already have a roadmap they put out where they're already planning early next year to add their second map. Like they're adding onto the game. It's an early access. They plan on having a number of maps and more enemies, more characters, more weapons.
And
you
just buy the game one time, right?
You buy the game one time, and then any updates.
And it is a cheap one. Like for those that don't know, actually you can buy a bundle of Death Must Die and the other one that we're going to talk about for like $10.
Yeah.
Because they're as cheap as Vampire Survivors. So like I think they're worth it.
I think so too. Yeah, this one's super fun. It's got a very dark pixelated vibe. It's got, I think, more detailed animation than Vampire Survivors does. Just not as much variation because Vampire Survivors has all these maps already and many more enemies to choose from. And so, but I really do like it. You also can control your attacks if you want to. You can turn on auto attack, which I often do, especially as the level gets more intense. But you can control your attack with one hit. Like you don't have to just constantly swing. And the upgrades are really cool, really creative use of these gods that'll come in because they also want to help you kill death, and they'll come in and give you their powers. And so it's a little bit of Hades element to the lore, kind of. So it's really good, really good. I like that one a lot. And then 20 minutes.
I played that one after you talked about it last week.
What'd you think?
And I got like 2 levels. I had the same thing happen with Vampire Survivors where like I play a couple levels, then I get too stressed out. I'm like, I'm about to die. And I have to take a break because I get too invested. I get so invested. But it's so good, dude. It's such a good version of that game. And it's got that Hades element you're talking about where it's like you die and you go back to a base and you talk to somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's different. Yeah, so it's rad. The other one you're about to talk about is more towards Vampire Survivors.
If you keep making progress, so far I've unlocked 5 heroes in Death Must Die. So there's 5 different characters. One's a knight, one's a fire magic girl, one's this big orc warrior, there's a little thief girl, like they all have different attack styles and weapons that they use that you can equip.
I got overwhelmed in the first or second. No, I think I tried it 3 times. By the green things that just I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do here?
Blobs, yeah.
Oh my god.
You just have to dash around you have to dash around the edge like an idiot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so super fun. I love that one. And then 20 Minutes Till Dawn is another Vampire Survivor like, and it's got a much different look. The pixels and the characters and the enemies are just bigger on the screen, whereas Death Must Die, everything you're a little more zoomed out. Things are a little smaller. 20 Minutes Till Dawn is a little more zoomed in, and it's very range focused. All the characters are these. It's a bunch of different female gunners, basically. They all have guns. Then you can pick which kind of gun you want, or a crossbow, or whatever else. You can do some melee attacks too, but it's very ranged focused. And so as you really get upgraded, like with the shotgun and stuff, and you up the number of shots and how quickly it reloads, your shotgun becomes kind of like a minigun that just won't stop shooting, and it's just shooting out in all these different directions. So it's pretty fun when you really get going into it. I liked that one too.
I like the look of both of these.
I only played one run of that one because I only had like an hour to play it, that and a couple others before I jumped on. But so I only got like one run through, and I saw that they had like a slew of characters to choose. So I imagine the more you play it and the more in-game currency you get or whatever, you can unlock more characters that have different weapons. I imagine that's how it is. Yeah. Okay, cool.
This one's more like the way Vampire Survivors upgrades work, where you just build up your currency and then you go to the store after you that run and you buy stuff. You buy characters, you buy weapons, whatever.
Gotcha.
Whereas Death Must Die is much more, if you make it to a certain point, a new character will show up at the castle to join you and you can switch between them. And then it's all about equipping new gear because there's lots of loot in Death Must Die, not as much in something like 20 minutes. Death Must Die, you're finding gear and helmets and swords and stuff. So they're very different.
I like that element of that game.
The aesthetic of the second one is really cool. I like it's like it's very like emphasize the red and that kind of like that green, whatever that green is, that shade of green, just very emphasized, and it
kind of reminds me of like old DOS games.
A
little bit. It's not Asteroids that pixelated and ugly or whatever, but like it's the menu screens. I'm like, it's like dark, it's like black and green, and I'm like, this reminds me of like DOS games or whatever, like Oregon Trail or something. It's cool.
Yeah, totally. Also, I do want to mention in Death Must Die, there is this mini boss skeleton that you run into multiple times. He'll keep coming back, and he'll actually, like, there's a little talking bubble, like a little dialogue bubble above his head, and he'll talk trash to you. He'll be like, "I'm back, MFer." Like he'll actually like swear at you and stuff, and he says like some modern day stuff. Like as his health's going down, he's like, "All right, stop." Like he'll like say.
I've seen that. Yeah.
All right, stop.
Yeah. Like he's pretty funny. So anyway, great games. I love both those. Real quick, a couple things I'm watching. I recommend. It's a bit of a bummer of a documentary, both of these, but they're good. So it depends on what kind of mood you're in. Let Us Pray is a series on Discovery, and it is basically about the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church, not all of them, but many of them, and the cover-ups with all kinds of assault and abuse, and a lot of it's really current, just in terms of like cases that are either still ongoing or were just settled.
They talk about the biggest one here, biggest church at least in my area, in my vicinity, is Prestonwood, and that
I don't think that one was mentioned.
Okay, they had
a
scandal,
but
they had a scandal like a year or something ago. I think. So
it was recent. This was really good, really sad, super heavy, and not recommended if there's any kind of history or struggle with listening to people talk about, very detailed with assaults and stuff. But it's also just really eye-opening. Anyway, I thought it was really well done. My wife and I watched that and thought it was good. And then I watched Buried on Netflix. Very different vibe, sad for a different reason. It was actually the year I was born, 1982, when this big avalanche happened in California, in the Alpine Valley. Alpine Ridge. I forget what the name of it is. Anyway, it's a ski resort that's up there that gets crazy amounts of weather, and that's what happened. This giant avalanche, simply essentially wipes out this lodge, and some people die. And
oh my gosh,
it's really
the whole lodge. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's really a well done one. I thought it's a movie, so it's not a series. It's just an hour and a half movie.
Do they show like? I don't know how resorts especially recover from avalanches. Do they just go, well, we're not going to stay here anymore, we're going to relocate or whatever? Do they just build again?
No, I think they're still there. I think it's still there. But they do show some of there's some stuff that I didn't realize they do at those places to mitigate avalanche danger. I didn't realize this. They use like explosives and special ski techniques to get layers of snow to come off.
There's a movie called God dang it, what's the name of the movie? Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus did an American version of it. Force Majeure. I think it's called Force Majeure. It's a French movie. They go to the Alps and they're doing exploding whatever. They're blowing up the side of the cliff, whatever, to cause avalanches.
Little avalanches, right?
Yeah, to make sure it doesn't pile up and cause new ones. And it's kind of a dark comedy-ish. I think it's by the same guy that did Triangle of Sadness. So it's Kyle knows it's that kind of humor. Basically, it's funny because it happens and people are outside dining on the patio, and they're like, that avalanche is going to come near us. It's not going to come near us at all. And the funny part is the husband sees how close it's getting, and he runs away, and the wife and kids are sitting there like terrified on the dock. And so the whole movie is about the falling out of like, why did you run away? Basically. Yeah, it's
I think
funny.
I've seen that clip of him running away, and I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. So I do like it. Like, to me, it's in the same vein. There's 2 other documentaries on Netflix that I've seen like this that I really liked. They tell real life stories from real life survivors of just natural disasters that it's just part of living on this planet. And so there was that volcano one, that rescue from that volcano in New Zealand.
In New Zealand,
really,
Really
like
good,
beautifully made documentary, just terrifying.
Yeah, because it was all modern, like caught on footage of
the drone footage was just
Yeah.
it was just really pretty, and I can see why it's a tourist attraction. But man, was that scary! And then there was the aftershock, the Nepal earthquake one, which was
I watched that one.
Highly recommend that one too. And then this
Nipple?
one, Buried.
That happened in Nepal.
Nepal.
Yep,
Nipple. Gotcha.
All right, Nipple.
Nipple.
You won me over. You got me. Last but not least, you guys recommended this show to me. I finally watched it. Beef on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
That show's great, dude.
That show gets so out of hand so fast.
Man, it's like a snowball effect where you're just like, why are they making these decisions?
Even the way that it ends, I was just like, dude, nothing got better. But man, what a crazy story. And they
because 2 people had a little bit of road rage, like it just the spiral effect is.
They do a good job of adding layers onto each person's stress factors, and even people outside of the 2 leads, they add in layers for them and things that are going on with them. They do a really really good
Steven
job.
Yeun's cousin, I think it's his cousin or whatever.
Okay.
He's really funny to me.
Dude, there are some moments that I laughed out loud. Like it's definitely a drama, but boy, does it have some hilarious comedic moments, especially in that final intense showdown in this big house. There's so many funny moments while violence is happening.
Isn't it
crazy? Like
who's like the God dang it, there's another Asian person there who's like, get these white people, these guys are like white Asians or whatever. They're like they're saying all these things that I can't even remember who's in the scene now. It's driving me crazy, but it wasn't like the lead characters. It was like a wife or a husband or something.
Well, there's also a small role for Andrew Santino, that comedian.
Yes, I love him.
He was really funny. Like, I don't know, everything about like it reminds me in some ways. I'm not saying it's as good as Breaking Bad, but just of a really dark setting and show. And you have these side characters like Bill Burr or these others that'll come in as kind of like the cleanup type guys. It's got like those moments that are just super funny with all this dark stuff going on.
My favorite parts of the shows were the needle drops at the end of every episode, and how like it would play into something that just ended the episode. Like I think the first episode ends with not Nickelback, Hoobastank. Thank you, Hoobastank. The reason, like he finds where she lives, I think, at the end of the episode, and it causes he causes something related to her plumbing. Let's put it that way. At her house, and when she discovers it, you hear the needle drop start to come in.
Yeah.
Found a reason for it.
It's this super sweet love song that has a very different meaning in that context.
Right.
And the
He's
reason
like
is
my reason to exist is to terrorize you now.
Yeah, because that was an interesting part of it too. Because with stress and anxiety, that there's so much built up rage, and they do a great job of kind of like they're so mad and they've just got so much rage built up, and then the only thing that gives them relief is to make someone else miserable and to take it out on this other person. So it's actually like an interesting like look into the human psyche as well. So I just thought it was overall super well done, wonderfully acted. I did not know that what's her name, Ali
Wong,
the comedian, right? She's a comedian.
Yeah, she's got like three specials on Netflix, and her last one was all about how she loves cheating on her husband, and I didn't like that special at all.
Okay,
but she was a good actress in this, though, man.
Yeah, she's incredible in this. She was in Always Be My Maybe too, with the Keanu. Keanu was in that movie, played himself.
Okay.
And who's the other guy? The guy who's in Randall Park?
That sounds right. Yeah.
He's in that movie.
So yeah, Beef, highly recommend it, man. I mean, if you're into that, if it's super intense and not family.
It's very intense. It's got a lot of stuff about suicide in it. Yada. So it's like come prepared for big subjects, but there's a lot of levity. There's a lot of levity though.
And as someone who like they have a whole bunch of church scenes with music and stuff and those kind of things. I was just like, yeah, man, this is exactly how it goes. Like there was a lot of really funny, like you can relate to this moments throughout.
Yeah. I loved when he brought the cousin I'm talking about that he brought in. That's like a stoner or whatever. And he's like cussing up a storm and like, he's like,
yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. He's like a hit with everybody. And Steven Yeun's just feeling like, you know, just I don't know, interrupted basically by all of this. Yeah, that's a good episode.
Great show.
Yeah, it's a great show. Damn.
It is on my queue since you guys recommended it, and I just now got to it.
Did you just resub to Netflix recently or something?
No, we've had it now for about 3 months or so because we're all watching through some different things. But yeah, finally got to that show. Took me a little while. All right. I think that's it for this week. I think that's everything. That's a long episode. Thank you guys for being here. Next week, we'll give you our rundown on how we did with our Game Awards predictions, and then we'll talk about Avatar a little bit next week too. Dan, what are you gonna ask us? Dan, what are you gonna ask again?
Okay, y'all, you play Avatar? Y'all play Avatar?
That's gonna be the open of the show right there.
Yeah. Prepare.
I can tell you now, it's gonna be no for me.
Oh, also the day before, the day before Early Access is totally coming out next week, guys. It's totally coming out.
It's not.
It's going to get delayed like the day before. Yes.
All right, that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.